Ed eccoci qui, buonasera, buonasera a tutte, buonasera a tutti, salve, 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 da me e da uno strano creaturo che
È un
effettivamente
pinguino.
è un pinguino peloso,
È un pinguino occhiazzurrato.
un
Ok,
pinguino azzurrato.
cambio cam perché forse è il caso di fare i seri oggi.
La voce
Giusto?
che sì, perché quando abbiamo fatto mai, adesso dobbiamo fare i seri.
No, mai fatto. Eccomi qua. Anzi, ho più telecamere oggi. Guarda sta figata, cioè, nel senso,
Ciao
oggi,
Francesca, intanto salutiamo Francesca, mettiamo un po' di chat con
oggi c'è,
lei.
c'è tutta sto ben di Dio di telecamere che sono tornate da Milano.
Beh, dai, siamo rientrati belli carichi, belli ricchi di esperienze, ci siamo divertiti. Ciao Emiliano. Insomma, abbiamo tante cose insomma
Brutta
da...
inquadratura, che però io intanto non ho sistemato le inquadrature oggi, quindi
Ok, mentre tu sistemi le inquadrature, direi di
ho le inquadrature brutte. Buongiorno e benvenuti comunque.
salutare tutti e iniziare insomma comunque con qualche piccola introduzione, semplicemente per chi si sta collegando, per chi magari vedrà il video in seguito. Questa sessione si lega ovviamente, l'avete letto un po' dappertutto, all'evento Adobe Max che come ogni anno anticipa quelle che sono le novità che ci aspettano all'interno di tutte le applicazioni del mondo Adobe e anche qualche altra novità che molto probabilmente poi arriverà nel corso del tempo. Io ho preferito, non so tu Marco, ma non ho voluto dare un'occhiata alle applicazioni che sono già disponibili, le ho scaricate 2 giorni fa, 2 mattine fa, non ho voluto vedere nulla se non quella particolarità sullo strano pulsante mancante di Photoshop legato alle intelligenze artificiali, la funzione Latent Visions, e fra l'altro ho anche scritto ad Adobe, ma non mi ha calcolato di pezza, ma non ho voluto spoilerarmi nulla delle novità, anche se grazie a ciao Giovanni, grazie al buon Mario Baluci ho scoperto una novità di After Effects che non rivelo, che però è una piccola, grande, meravigliosa novità per chi utilizza After Effects, soprattutto le maschere e insomma, vabbè, poi vedremo assieme. Comunque una bella novità. Per il resto non ne ho idea, quindi non ho voluto
Allora,
testare i software.
ti dirò la verità, non ho avuto nemmeno io tempo di provare le nuove funzioni in quanto siamo tornati da Milano, dal Viscom, anzi, esperienza proprio molto bella con te a Milano e ovviamente nel tornare da Milano si sono accumulate le nostre deadline. Penso che anche tu sei stato nella mia stessa situazione.
No, non te capisco
No.
proprio, guarda.
Io ho tipo 10 deadline oggi da chiudere, quindi
Io mi sono finto morto. Se proprio
sì,
qualcuno
no,
m'ha
è
finto...
effetto capretta che si spaventa, cadi per terra, giusto?
No, no, c'ho proprio il messaggio automatico, chi mi scrive fa: "Ci dispiace annunciarle, Massimo è morto."
Sì, va
Così.
bene. Quindi se mi vedete un po' sfatto in faccia, quella è la colpa. Ehm, quindi dai, in realtà ho scaricato la nuova suite. In maniera folle, lo dirò veramente ora qua, qua lo dico e qua lo nego, quindi non fatelo,
Ciao
ma
Sandro.
io ho l'automatismo cancella la vecchia versione.
No, sul serio? Ma perché ti fai del male così?
Ma perché sono stronzo io, scusatemi ragazzi, ma sono stronzo io con queste cose. Ciao Rebel!
Allora, intanto aspetta che attivo, visto che mancano 3 minuti,
Sì, nel caso che
vado
ci
a
mettiamo a vedere un attimo che
condividere.
cosa... Allora, cosa sarà questa sessione di oggi, che è diversa appunto da quelle che andremo a fare? Andiamo a vedere... Intanto mi si smontano pezzi qua di roba, non so da dove è caduto qualcosa, una vite, va bene. Andremo a vedere praticamente la diretta degli Adobe Max, perché per
Scusami,
chi non lo
intanto saluto mano a mano.
per chi non lo sapesse, gli Adobe Max sono, anzi, noi stiamo andando a vedere proprio lo sneak peek degli Adobe Max. E in questo frangente, in questa sessione, l'Adobe presenta i suoi nuovi
Dai,
prodotti.
Marco, dai, ce la possiamo
I
fare.
nuovi
Dai.
prodotti ma lo sai che sono stanco.
No,
I suoi nuovi prodotti in messa d'opera in questo caso, o quelli che comunque verranno da qui a poco presentati al pubblico. In realtà nei giorni scorsi abbiamo visto qualcosina sia dal punto di vista audio, quindi so già cosa aspettarmi almeno da quel punto di vista lì. Come detto, l'intelligenza artificiale Sensei ne farà padrona in molto, almeno in quello che ho visto nei vari panel presenti, senza approfondire troppo.
Sì, qualche cosina l'ho letta anch'io, e ovviamente noi abbiamo già le AI all'interno di vari software Adobe.
In realtà è da anni che ormai abbiamo Sensei all'interno, quindi in realtà parlare ora di AI in maniera
Sì,
sembra un po'
esattamente.
anacronistico.
Però sono curioso di capire un attimino che cosa diranno, nel senso che mi aspetto ovviamente un'implementazione continua e maggiore e più estesa delle AI in termini di funzionalità, e vediamo un attimino poi cosa diranno. Ora noi ovviamente cercheremo un attimino di commentare le cose, insomma, più salienti insieme con voi. Poi probabilmente il keynote dovrebbe durare un'oretta all'incirca, ci fermeremo qualche minutino in più, giusto per decomprimere. Fra l'altro l'evento sta per iniziare, poi metterò insomma a tutto schermo e vediamo un po' che cosa succede. Tanto stavo andando un attimino a...
Ovviamente cerchiamo di tradurre il più possibile quello che viene detto. Le mie doti da traduttore saranno messe a dura prova a questo giro.
Io in realtà avevo pensato di tradurre in altre lingue, però effettivamente ho detto no, facciamolo in inglese, che è il mio punto forte, e ci divertiremo un casino a non capire cioè a tradurre correttamente quello che diranno. No, vabbè, in realtà comunque penso che sarà abbastanza chiaro anche quando cominceranno a mostrare qualche funzionalità. Vediamo un pochettino. Io credo che ci siano anche, oddio, i sottotitoli non lo so. Non mi ricordo l'anno
Forse
scorso se...
generati automaticamente YouTube dovrebbe farceli.
Non mi ricordo se l'anno scorso l'avevano attivati o meno, ma lo vediamo. Comunque, siamo in attesa adesso di vedere l'inizio. Ho notato che nell'aggiornamento delle applicazioni mi sembra di aver visto che non ci sono stati aggiornamenti recenti della suite
Per il 3D.
Substance, a
Sì.
parte ovviamente il classico MD, che è la novità, eccolo qua. Infatti qui abbiamo Dimension, che si è aggiornato 10 giorni fa, Stager, idem. L'unico in più è appunto MD, che
Sa
sarebbe...
che siamo in diretta. Guarda un
Siamo già in
attimino.
diretta? Vediamo. No,
No, ok,
ancora no,
perché
in
mi è arrivata
attesa.
una notifica YouTube, ma...
Sì, perché pochi secondi fa ufficialmente dovrebbe essere partito, ma ancora non c'è sta.
Sì, abbiamo la intro, abbiamo la
Abbiamo?
intro. Dovrebbe esserci la intro, ma ancora no, non lo vediamo.
Io sono su YouTube, qui vedi, infatti gli utenti qua stanno scrivendo, quindi... posso aggiornare perché magari ogni tanto... No, vedi.
Intanto volevo fare una domanda, visto che c'è un pochino di pubblico. Che cosa si aspettano i nostri utenti da questa dalle nuove versioni della suite, soprattutto dove sperano che ci siano degli aggiornamenti?
Che cosa si aspetta? Ma in effetti dovreste dircelo voi a noi. Io personalmente mi aspettavo l'attivazione di quelle novità del pannello dei filtri neurali lato Photoshop, lato Illustrator, una maggiore estensione delle funzionalità 3D che toccheranno comunque ovviamente quello che è il nucleo Substance, il nucleo dei software Substance, cosa che credo che abbiano... insomma, era previsto che avrebbero fatto all'interno di Photoshop. E non lo so, vabbè, ovviamente ci sono nei panel previste la presentazione dello sculpting made in Adobe, quindi questo Substance 3D Modeler, che non è malaccio. Io il software l'ho già provato, è solo per Windows attualmente, si è scelta ovviamente abbastanza atipica, se vogliamo, per certi versi. È tornato il pinguino.
Sì,
Però ecco, mo vediamo un attimino che cosa, insomma, cosa ci diranno. Semplicemente lo presenteranno, ma il software è quello, è anche abbastanza, tra virgolette, basico. È una sorta comunque di
allora,
Sculptris,
io
per chi se lo ricorda.
non ho ancora dato un'occhiata a Photoshop, ma mi sa che ormai i tempi sono maturi e penso che siano state eliminate le funzionalità 3D da Photoshop. E molto
Allora,
probabilmente.
queste avrebbero dovuto eliminarle, però probabilmente le hanno eliminate quelle tradizionali e immagino, questi sono solo rumor che avevo letto prima di questi giorni, prima dell'aggiornamento, che hanno creato insomma i classici ponti tra i vari software, e adesso vediamo, vedremo un attimino che cosa ci dirà, anche perché poi fra l'altro in ogni caso restano poi le necessità comunque di rito, perché il nucleo substance in termini di modellazione è ovviamente limitato comunque da quella che è la sua, chiamiamola, tecnologia, limitato insomma, legato al contesto. Vediamo un attimino, dai, aspettiamo un attimino, penso che a momenti partirà, quindi ci sono la chat è attiva qui, anche quella internazionale, quindi penso che mancano giusto i classici, aspetteranno quei 5-6 minuti perché parte e poi inizierà anche questa live. Poi After Effects ovviamente ci sarà sicuramente un potenziamento, Premiere che ovviamente, non so se avete visto le ads di Premiere in giro su YouTube, ma Adobe sta pompando molto lato Premiere perché sia preso in considerazione dagli utenti come un tool soprattutto destinato alla pubblicazione social, quindi per le pubblicazioni editoriali, per l'ottimizzazione dei contenuti, e anche ovviamente in sostituzione dovrebbe andare a coprire il mercato di tutte quelle mini app o app tra virgolette secondarie che oggi comunque i creator all'interno dei vari social sfruttano per ottimizzare i loro contenuti. Vediamo un attimino che cosa succederà. C'è ovviamente poi il comparto media encoder, eccolo qua, sta per iniziare. Ok.
Per una volta siamo noi in anticipo sul Max. Che è successo?
Cosa rara. Ma si sente l'audio di YouTube?
In questo momento io non lo sento.
Voi lo sentite l'audio di YouTube, per curiosità? Voi in chat lo sentite? Perché c'è praticamente una musichetta, aspetta, perché forse devo attivarlo io da qui. Ah, lo sentite? Ok, Francesca, perfetto.
Io non lo sento, quindi non sentirò l'audio, che bello.
No, non sentite musica? No, allora non lo sento, aspetta.
No, non si sente nulla. Quindi...
Allora aspetta che attivo il mio audio esterno.
Non se riesco...
Così si sente?
Sì, si sente. Si sente anche a me.
Ah, figa questa animazione. Con lo stile che adoro. Siamo usciti più 3D. Soprattutto questa non ha proprio senso, probabilmente. Sì, Emiliano. Ah, guarda che cacchio di stadio a disposizione. Uè, ciao ragazzi, è arrivato anche il Kaboom.
So great to be back in person after 3 years for our 20th Max. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I mean, how cool was that video? Let's give them a round of applause.
Vabbè, voglio vedere se da Adobe ci mancava, chiamavate Ciccio il grafico per
the
fare
excitement and energy here is so palpable. I cannot even tell you how cool it is to be back here. And we're joined by over 6,000 people in this room and thousands more from around the world for the largest creativity conference ever. So thank you so much for being here. Now, speaking of numbers, this is year for milestones.
La traduzione è leggermente indietro.
As well as for me personally. We celebrate 40 years and our 40th anniversary in December. We could not be more proud of the impact that our technologies have had on every aspect
e di acquisizioni, no?
From inventing desktop publishing, to revolutionizing imaging and design, to pioneering electronic documents, to advancing animation, gaming, and video, and now to leading in 3D, immersive, digital marketing and commerce. We are focused on empowering everyone, everywhere, to imagine, create, and bring any digital experience to life. It's incredible to actually reflect on the evolution of the company and our community over this time. We focused on continuously delivering groundbreaking innovation, radically expanding our aspirations, and relentlessly focused on bringing the best of Adobe to all of you. But it really is your commitment, your passion, and your creativity that have inspired us to reach higher. So on behalf of everybody at Adobe, thank you. Thank you for the incredible collaboration over all these years. This year, I also celebrate my 25th year at Adobe. And growing up, I wanted to be a journalist.
Macromedia.
Blessed that at Adobe, I've been vicariously able to participate in the publishing industry. And as I reflect on how the company has evolved, there are 4 experiences that stand out for me. When I joined the company, InDesign was the first product that I worked on. At that time, Quark was the de facto publishing platform, but we were convinced that there was an opportunity to create a brand new modern digital publishing. We released InDesign in 1999, built from scratch with a plugin architecture to encourage contributions from every one of you. We tackled first problems that existed in those days to serve the global community, including Double Byte with a codename project Kotaka, specifically aimed at the Japanese market. And it was those early strategic decisions that helped us make InDesign the digital publishing powerhouse that it continues to be till today. The seminal acquisition of Macromedia in 2005 was a result of our expanding our aperture to tackle both the print and web with a common platform. We think it laid the foundation for delivering all of our offerings across multiple operating systems as well as devices, simultaneously, forever changing the aspirations of the company. Together we expanded into print, into web, gaming, animation, and video.
Forever changing the aspirations of the company. Together we expanded into print and web.
Of customers with an integrated offer.
Marco,
And Creative Suite 3 was a result of this monumental.
Hai sovrapposto un altro video, vedi, ce l'hai in basso.
With the tectonic shift in cloud computing and mobile, we resolved to reinvent ourselves again with the launch of Adobe Creative Cloud in 2012, which allowed us to deliver continuous innovation and engage with you in entirely new ways. The transitioning from desktop software to software as a service was a first, not just for Adobe, but actually for the entire industry. I'm so thankful for your support.
Non lo so, Marco o Teresa, non so chi dei due sta scrivendo. Non so se presenteranno anche tutta la parte 3D, non ne ho idea. Sicuramente Substance 3D Modeller ne parleranno perché è previsto nei panel, l'accenneranno. Però adesso che parlavo di videogiochi e di cinema, secondo me qualche cosina la diranno. Anche per capire le direzioni, anche perché stanno puntando molto al VR, c'è l'applicazione Adobe Medium che in pochi conoscono, che funziona sul lato VR, è molto gradita su ArtStation.
And you'll hear more today from both David and Scott about how Sensei is all about anticipating and solving problems that have vexed us for decades. Our goal is to continuously build on these learnings and our investments to invent the future with you. And there are 3 key strategies that we're now focused on. Adobe's mission to democratize creativity is about enabling anyone, anywhere to tell their story, whenever and wherever inspiration strikes. With every product launch, we try to expand the lens to make creativity more accessible to more people. And we're bringing the power and precision of Adobe Magic to every category, including imaging, illustration, design, 3D, and immersive. We brought Lightroom to mobile, desktop, and web, offering powerful capabilities to precisely capture, edit, and share photos across any device. With Adobe Scan, we've turned mobile devices into powerful scanning and recognition tools, enabling PDF for the mobile era. Most recently, Adobe Express enables consumers, communicators, and creative pros to create this incredible, amazing content. Bringing powerful capabilities from Adobe Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects and Acrobat to Express to deliver the best of Adobe to customers at any level. Our vast portfolio of industry-leading products are empowering billions of people to tell their stories in richer and more varied ways than ever before. Well, creativity for AI is not just about product innovation. It's also about unleashing the power to do social good. Today we're announcing the Adobe Express for nonprofits, which provides...
Si sente ancora l'audio di YouTube?
Massimo, non si sente più l'audio di YouTube ora.
Ho fatto lo switch che mi hai detto tu, ma
prima si sentivano sdoppiati, c'è stato un attimo in cui si sentivano tutte e due.
Scusa, così non si sente?
Ora così si sente.
Okay.
Ma mi sento pure io.
Ti senti?
To engage an even
Mi
broader set of
sento io.
creators, designers, and
Ho
developers.
condiviso l'audio di sistema.
We're building the future of collaborative
Non era questo che volevi,
creativity on
mai
an
scritto.
even
Dico.
larger
No, è
scale.
che avevo sentito nel
Innovation for
ritorno.
us has always been about
E prova a
harnessing
metterti
the
le cuffie,
power
come ho
of the
fatto io.
community in an asynchronous fashion. And given the new hybrid work reality, we're turning our attention to solving synchronous collaboration.
Il logo
The
di Fili.
acquisition of Frame.io and Workfront were key strategies for us in advancing this effort
Frame.io
across
non
both
Fili,
video
no.
as well as marketing campaigns and their workflows. But a few weeks ago, we were absolutely thrilled to announce our intent to acquire Figma, a leading web-first collaborative product design platform. Thank you. And together with Figma, we have this unique to advance product design,
Salta lui, e salta il
accelerate
video,
creativity
non
on the
siamo
web,
noi.
and reimagine the future of creativity and productivity. Adobe Magic for us is about unleashing entirely new innovation that amplify the power of human ingenuity. We're using Adobe Sensei
Notate
to allow people to free themselves from
intelligenze
mundane tasks
artificiali
and deliver
hanno dovuto
absolutely
dedicare.
new superpowers. Speech to text, for example, in Premiere Pro, that uses the power of AI to automatically generate captions to videos. Or Liquid Mode in Acrobat, which uses AI to automatically make responsive PDF on mobile devices. Sensei-powered features like content-aware fill and neural filters in Photoshop that are making Photoshop even more accessible, smarter, and easier to use across surfaces. And our goal is to make AI your co-pilot in all of your creative endeavors. But as a company that serves billions of people, we are also extremely serious about the responsibility to ensure that our technology is making a positive impact. And through the Content Authenticity Initiative, Adobe is partnering with over 800 organizations globally to combat misinformation, as well as provide attribution and provenance for creatives. Thank you. But for us, we deliver the best of Adobe when we do it together with every one of you. We're really grateful for the engagement and connections that we see across our over 30 million strong Behance community. Thanks to the incredible partnership with over 300,000 global contributors, Adobe Stock now offers nearly 300 million images, videos, vectors, and fonts to give millions of creators the world's best assets. And with Adobe Max, what started out as a small gathering of web designers and developers, we now bring together millions of creators from every corner of the world, representing every creative discipline. And through the content that you create, share, and monetize, you are amplifying our collective impact. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to inspire our over 27,000 employees around the world
Grazie Marco.
Products and experiences.
Anche a te, grazie, ringrazio.
No, con
I think it's
Marco
an incredibly exciting time to be a creator, and we're humbled to partner with you to push the art and science of creativity forward. The world is truly your canvas. And my ask of you is to keep dreaming bigger. Challenge us to help you realize your creative visions and ultimately make the world a more colorful, vibrant place. But thank you so much again for joining us today. And with that, I'd now like to welcome David Wadhwani, President of Adobe's digital media business. Thank you.
Lo so, l'eco è mio. Richiamo Finali.
Questo film lo devo troppo vedere.
Era quello del multiverso.
Sì, ma proprio leggerissimo richiamo, Luca, proprio appena accennato.
Poco.
David Wadhwani.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Max. Well, good to hear it. It's amazing to be in person after all these years, and I want to start by just echoing a little bit of what Shantanu said. Shantanu's journey at Adobe over the last 25 years in many ways has mirrored my very own. I attended the very first Max. Anyone know where that was or how long ago it was? Salt Lake City. I heard someone say it. Oh, it's an Adobe person. It was Salt Lake City 20 years ago, and it's amazing to see how much of this industry has changed in those 25 years. But the thing that I remember most was that I was blown away by the people that I met. And at the end of the day, that's why many of us are at Adobe today, because we love the people we work with and because we're in awe of the people we work to serve, all of you. We're inspired by you because your creativity moves the world forward. You bring the past to life. You imagine the future. You ignite our imagination. You shine a light on the things that we need to discuss, and you help your companies elevate their voices in a crowded market. And of course, sometimes you just make us laugh when we need to do it the most. What you do makes the world a better place. And our sole focus is to push our tools and our services forward so you can keep breaking new ground. What makes this moment so special is that we're living at a time where content and creativity and design has never been more valued, where content is fueling the global economy, where digital content consumption is exploding, and where virtually every business needs a digital presence. Of course, this creates amazing opportunity for all of you, but it also creates real challenges. The vast majority of you say that it's really hard to keep up with the demands on your time, and that you have less bandwidth to experiment and learn new things. And that's what we want to focus on today. How can Adobe help you take what's in your mind and make it with higher production value and in less time? So you can take advantage of the opportunities in front of you, and so you can spend more time surprising and inspiring all of us with what you create. In a minute, I'll invite Scott Belsky, who runs our creative products, on stage to walk you through all the incredible innovation his team has been working on. And when he does, it will be very easy to get caught up in all the amazing technology. And you should get caught up in it. It's kind of mind-blowing. But beyond the raw technology, I want you all to keep a few things in mind. First is that our goal, as Shantanu said, has always been to give you the ability to accomplish anything in your mind's eye with the most powerful creative products in the world. And over the last few years, we've been investing more and more in Adobe Sensei, our AI engine. I like to refer to Sensei as your creative co-pilot. You're already using hundreds of features that are powered by Sensei to automate mundane tasks, and we'll be announcing more of them here today. So you can express your creative ideas more quickly, especially given the increasing demands on your time. But of course, the promise of having a creative co-pilot isn't solely about productivity. It's also about possibility. As our research director, Gavin Miller, puts it, creating with AI can feel like dreaming out loud. And we're working on new capabilities that can take our core flagship applications to whole new levels.
Bella frase quello che ha detto.
Imagine being able to ask your creative co-pilot in Photoshop to add an object or scene simply by describing what you want, or asking your co-pilot to give you an alternative idea based on what you've already done. It's like magic. Imagine if you can combine Gentex with Lightroom, so you can ask Sensei to transform night into day, a sunny photograph into a beautiful sunset, move shadows, or change the weather.
Vabbè, questi sono I filtri, quelli What's New che aveva anticipato.
Sì, no, ma cambiano proprio.
Sì, ma sono nella sezione What's New di Neural Filters.
It can conjure up an image simply from a text description. And we're really excited about what this can do for all of you. But we also want to do this thoughtfully. We want to do this in a way that protects, empowers, and champions the needs of creators. So here's our commitment to you. We're approaching generative technology from a creator-centric perspective. We believe AI should enhance human creativity, not replace it, and it should benefit creators, not replace them.
Infatti si vede come hanno capito tutti
also
questa
recognize
cosa.
that today's generative AI offerings fall short of your needs as creators. So we're investing in research and product design that incorporates it into your existing creative apps and works with your existing creative workflows. And we believe that the rise of generative AI calls for industry standards. As Shantanu mentioned, we'll work with our communities and our partners in the Content Authenticity Initiative to develop standards around ethics and digital provenance. So in short, we want you to be excited about the technology that we build and how we go about building it. Another way we're going to help you manage the increasing demands on your time is by giving you more explicit control over when you choose the power and precision of our desktop applications and when you want more speed and ease. And nowhere will this be more obvious than when you try Adobe Express. Express is our new service built from the ground up to empower all of you to quickly create content that stands out. It's included with your Creative Cloud membership, so you can decide when you want the power and precision of our core desktop applications and when you want the speed and ease of Express. And last, but certainly not least, we're doubling down on collaboration. Creativity is increasingly a team sport, whether you're collaborating with other creators or asking feedback from stakeholders. You'll hear a lot about Share for Review capabilities today from Scott this morning. Available today across video, design, and imaging, and it's going to be a huge time saver for all of you. And speaking of collaboration, as Shantanu mentioned, you may have heard of this little acquisition we entered into, an agreement to acquire Figma. Dylan Field, co-founder and CEO, a few years ago, and had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with him over the last year. He's truly a special leader, and it turns out we had a shared dream of what we could do together. Dylan will be joining us later this morning to share his thoughts on how we at Adobe can accelerate their work in ideation and product design, and how together we can reimagine the future of imaging and video and illustration and design and more. The opportunity ahead for all of you and all of us is astounding. At the same time, the demands on you has never been greater. And all of us at Adobe are committed to supporting you, whether it's by giving you superpowers, providing you more options for speed and ease, or making it seamless to work together. So with that, please welcome Scott Belsky to show it all to you. And Scott, come on up.
Thank you, David. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be with you all this morning. It just feels so good to be in person and to share the very latest from our teams, all of which is designed to make you more productive and inspired and ultimately outfit you to do your very best work. From breakthrough technology and performance improvements to new ways to work together and to create for entirely new mediums, we've got a lot of fun stuff ahead. All of these new features and capabilities that you're about to see fall under three themes: performance and superpowers, or precision and superpowers, speed and ease, and collaborative creativity. So let me provide some very quick context on each of these themes, then we're going to jump right into some exciting demos and announcements ahead. And we'll start with precision and superpowers. So our teams are on a mission to advance every creative category through better performance and powerful new features. For instance, look at video. In Premiere Pro, new features like automatic color correction and one-click remixing of music tracks are making the entire video process much more efficient. In Photoshop on the desktop, we made it even simpler to select complex objects and work with assets imported from Illustrator. And in Photoshop on the web, available now in beta, we've launched new editing, compositing, and retouching capabilities to the product. These features and many more like them help you create precision and control you're accustomed to, but quicker and easier. Our teams have also been laser focused on improving performance. But we have made significant improvements across Creative Cloud over the last year in both performance and reliability, and this momentum will continue in the year to come. We're also focused on making you much more productive with new superpowers, as David was talking about, fueled by Adobe Sensei. So these AI superpowers take over the mundane and repetitive work, giving you more time to explore and to iterate. For instance, in Photoshop, you can get rid of a distracting object just by clicking on it and hitting delete. Sensei automatically fills the space so you'll never even know it was there. Of course, AI isn't only about saving time. It's also about doing things that you previously didn't even think were technologically possible. You can turn day into night or summer into winter with neural filters. You can replace a moving object frame by frame all at once with content-aware fill and After Effects. And that next generation of AI that David was talking about earlier will actually help generate assets for you. We also want to outfit you with one more superpower that's becoming increasingly essential for creative professionals these days, and that is the ability to create for 3D and immersive experiences. 3D makes designing creative marketing assets and new products better, faster, and cheaper. And getting involved in 3D creation now prepares creators and companies to develop for the immersive experiences of tomorrow. So today we'll show you some incredible updates to our Substance 3D collection, and we will introduce you to a breakthrough new product that will accelerate the creation of immersive experiences. Okay, so I've talked a lot about some of the ways we're helping with precision and control, but let's face it, not all projects require painstaking detail. Sometimes you just want to do something super quickly and as easily as possible. And Adobe Express is really becoming the perfect app for those situations. When you need to quickly edit an image, trim a video, make a GIF, or a GIF for those of you that like to be wrong, or craft something, right? Express is really the perfect tool. And with Express, you can give anyone in the company templates and tools to create a social media post that follows your brand and design standards to a T. So lo and behold, you actually can retain creative control in this new world after all. Let's talk about collaborative creativity. Every creative project these days has a lot of stakeholders, right? Clients, marketing colleagues, developers, fellow creators. In fact, these days, Disney tries to compete with better design and creativity. You are all at the center and everyone else is becoming your stakeholder. But the friction of collaborating,
No,
sending
Giovanni, è
around
così.
these huge files,
Puntano
keeping
molto
track
su
of
Adobe
endless amounts
Express
of versions,
perché
converting
ovviamente è
from
lo
one format to
strumento veloce
another,
e
it's just always been
flessibile,
too
l'hanno detto
much.
prima,
There has to
per
be a better way,
ovviamente
and we are
lavorare
building it.
con gli utenti che gestiscono
All right,
social,
so
robe
are you
veloci.
ready?
Quindi
All
la
right, I'm
divisione è quella di
ready.
prima.
Demo
Le
gods, are
applicazioni
you ready?
tradizionali per
I hope
chi
so.
è
'Cause we're
professionista,
live.
Adobe Express per
We're
tutti gli
going to
altri.
start out in the world of
Linea di
design,
massima.
beginning with Illustrator and
Cioè,
InDesign.
se ti
You're
sembra
going
una
to
cosa
see new
veloce.
ways we're accelerating your work in Illustrator and how we're making handling type a breeze in InDesign. And you'll see one major new collaboration feature across our flagship products I just want to point out. Whenever you see share in the top right corner of your application, you now have actually two great options at your fingertips. First, you can invite others to edit your document with just a URL. The people that you're working with, can access this project on the desktop app or jump into Photoshop on the web and soon Illustrator on the web. But the second, a brand new option, is share for review. A super efficient way to get feedback from all stakeholders on your project with just a click. With Share for Review, you can share design with anyone just by sending a link. Your colleagues can view your work in any browser, make comments, and even point out specific parts of the design that need changes. And the reviewers don't need Creative Cloud. In fact, they don't even need to be logged in. And you'll see all their comments start flowing right back into the application you use to create the design, where you can address it without ever disrupting your flow. So again, no more craziness, exporting to other formats, tracking versions, all this stuff. Share for Review really does make that old world obsolete. Okay, so with that, all right, we don't like friction. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Danielle Morimoto and Brielle Alexander to show you Share for Review and other cool new features in Illustrator and InDesign.
Thanks, Scott. All right, I am really to be here, and I'm sharing the latest features across both InDesign and Illustrator. I'm working on a travel journal design in collaboration with Christine Herron, a previous Adobe creative resident. I'm here in InDesign, and I have most of the pages already laid out, but there's still a few adjustments that I'm looking to make. So let's jump right in. This spread is looking really good. A lot of illustration elements, so I want to add in a bit more photography. I have this photo that I took on my phone and airdropped this in, so it is an a.k.a. image. Previously, I would have had to convert this in order to use it, but InDesign now supports modern formats like a.k.a, JP2s, etc. All right, so I also want to add in a photo to this bottom left-hand corner. I don't have something exactly in mind, so I'm going to head to the web to Adobe Stock. Now, Adobe Stock gives me access to millions of images, videos, audio, lots of different types of content. I've already done a quick search here for a chipmunk because this is an outdoor page, and personally, I'm obsessed. So as I scroll through, I'm just looking for something where white text is supposed to be legible on top of the image, maybe having the animal off to the side a little bit. So something like this could work really well. Now, I can download this right now, but instead, I'm going to save this directly to my CC libraries. That way, Chris can access to it as well. So I'm going to head back to InDesign and go to my libraries panel. Here are all of those shared colors and graphics, and here's that image. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this in, and then scale it on down. There we go. All right, so as soon as I scale this down, I am noticing the text still isn't working perfectly. I want this text to ideally wrap around the side of the chipmunk. So in order to get that effect today, I would take this photo into Photoshop, select the subject, generate a path, bring that path into InDesign. All of that takes time. So instead, I'm going to use the brand new text wrap around object feature and use select subject. Now this analyzes my photo, and it automatically found the subject for me. I'm going to bump up the padding just a little bit, and that looks great. So again, this is the brand new text wraparound object feature, and it just makes things a lot simpler. I do have a page that is more text heavy. I haven't styled this at all yet, just copy and paste. So typically when I go to style text, I might start with like my header text, go over to my properties panel, and start to look through all of my different font options, and there's a lot of them. And so it takes a lot of time. I might play with the scale of the text, and once I like something, I'll create a style. But that's just for the header, right? I now need to do that for my subhead and my description copy and my lists. So instead, I'm going to get a baseline using the brand new style packs. Now, these are pre-packaged with different font pairings, and they use machine learning to look at my text and actually identify all of the different areas for me. There are multiple of these that come with InDesign, but where this is super powerful is you can create your own. So in paragraph styles, I can customize my own style packs, and that's exactly what I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and apply one of these right now. Again, it's using that machine learning, looking at my text, identifying the section, and just like that, it's changed the entire design.
Automatizza un po' lo stile.
This looks really good. It is, not my favorite design for this particular style, so I'm going to apply another one here. So again, this is the brand new style packs, and it just makes things a lot easier when it comes to getting started and exploring new ideas. All right, last thing I want to do while I am in this file is actually to a graphic that I have. So this is an Illustrator file that I have embedded in InDesign, so I can just edit the original, and it will automatically launch Illustrator with that graphic. Now that I'm here, noticing a few things I still need to do. I have this list at the bottom here. I need to make this into a bulleted list. Super manual to do this today. If you know, you know. So with one click, I can make this a numbered list, lettered list, bulleted list, and there's also advanced stylings. I'm also going to head back over to my libraries panel and just pull in one more graphic here at the bottom. Perfect. So the main thing I actually want to do while I'm here is to this larger graphic I have. I have this rope that's on top of all of these other objects, and instead of having it behind or in front of everything, I really want to make it look like they're all weaving in and out of each other. So in order to get that effect today, I would take this rope, copy it, mask a little section, copy the rope again, mask a section. You get it. I repeat that over and over again, and whoo, you do not want to see my layers. So instead, I am going to use the brand new intertwine feature. So with my lasso tool, I'm simply going to circle the areas where I want these objects to swap places.
Ma che cazzo sia ma è simpatico, sì, ma non è che sia sta cosa che gente batte le mani.
I'm doing this really quickly because I'm on stage, and it's still doing a fantastic job at identifying the sections. What's great about this is if I want to adjust something, I can come in really easily, do that, and it's non-destructive. So again, I really quickly was able to make this look like it's weaving in and out of each other. This is super powerful. This is the brand new intertwine feature.
Per questo mi pare un filino eccessivo. Capisco che la gente fa passare fili.
All right, I'm going to save this file. I'm happy with this, and I'm going to head back over to InDesign. Now, I didn't have to export anything out of searching for it on my desktop. It's automatically updated here. Now, I do want to take a look through the rest of my designs again, and this is the part of the process where I'm really happy with my designs, but I would love to get feedback from someone else. Now, typically, I would have to export all of these pages out of InDesign, but collaboration is now built directly into the product. So I'm going to use the brand new Share for Review feature, and this allows me to create a web link that I can share with others to get feedback on my designs. Right now, I have it set to invite only, which is perfect because I just want a few people to see this for now. I can always make it public so anyone with the link can access it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my friend Bria, and I'm really curious what she thinks about the designs, and I'll go ahead and send it off to her.
Bria, friend of Danielle and senior program manager on the team, and I get a notification right away in Creative Cloud on the web. I see it's from Danielle asking for my thoughts. Let's take a look and see what's on. Alrighty, it looks like the travel journal that we've been collaborating on, and it looks really, really great since I've last seen it. I love the style packs that she's incorporated here. I think it looks really good, but I am noticing that we did forget to license this image. And the really cool thing about Share for Review is now you can mark up directly in the document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a pin where I've got the feedback and say, let's license this. If I can spell license. There we go. Alrighty. Up next, we did talk about changing this flag here to a tree. So once again, I'm going to mark up directly in the document, circle the area where I've got the feedback, and say, let's use a tree here. Alrighty, and as I continue to look through it, I love the weave that she's been able to incorporate here. I think it looks really cool, but I am noticing that we landed on New Zealand as our final country, but we talked about a few others in our collaboration together. So once again, I'm going to put a pin. I'm going to tag my teammate Jason Levine and ask Danielle and Jason, how'd we land here? Alrighty, and as I continue to look through the document, I think it looks really, really great, but that is the awesome power of Share for Review. No Slack messages, no emails, just you and your content. Back to you, Danielle.
Sì, Ixan, sicuramente può essere interessante, però fa parte di quelle feature aggiuntive che non ti cambiano la vita.
But I'm back here in InDesign, and there's now a built-in review panel where I can see all of the comments that she's left. I have a lot of pages. I don't have to go searching for every single place where she left feedback. With one click, it takes me directly to that spread. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this first update. It's a really quick thing that she wants me to do. And then I'm going to just resolve the comment to kind of get it out of my way. Definitely should license this later, but I'm going to take a look at this last comment here. It looks like she's curious how we landed on this content. We've been going back and forth for like a while now. It happens, but I think I'm just going to reply back to her and tag my coworker, Paul Tranny. Here we go. Got to delegate this and see if he can look into this. And I'll reply directly here. And the great thing about this is all of the feedback that we have is now consolidated around this one document. This is the brand new share for review feature, and it truly changes the way that I work with other people. This is just new features coming to both InDesign and Illustrator. Thank you.
Vabbè, del resto stavo pensando effettivamente è anche sbagliato settarsi rivoluzioni di software.
As you can see, Intertwine's pretty awesome. Share for Review is a game changer. I mean, Share for Review is available today in Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, and will be coming to the rest of Creative Cloud soon enough.
No, infatti, questo
and you're starting to see AI make its way
spesso I clienti non hanno nemmeno Adobe Reader,
purtroppo, starting with style packs, for example, here. Those are just a few of the new features in Illustrator and InDesign. But over the last year, the teams have released so many other features and improvements in real time, including new ways to work with 3D objects, new options for all things text, and many others. So again, please dig into the latest versions of Illustrator and InDesign. Okay, we can't talk about... So again, please dig into the latest versions of Illustrator and InDesign. Okay, we can't talk about our mission of creativity for all without talking a little bit about Adobe Express. We have so many, all right, we have so many experts in the room who are deeply specialized, right? Whether you're in video production, a designer, a photographer, an illustrator, but nearly all social platforms are mixed media these days, and most good posts are some combination of video, photography, graphics, and more. So creative pros today have to be capable of doing many different things and to do them fast. You may specialize in video, but you may want an illustrated thumbnail image that grabs people's attention for YouTube. Or you're a designer who wants to provide tools for your non-designer colleagues to create social media posts without your help. Or maybe you just have to get something done super quickly. Here to show you how Adobe Express can be a time saver for creative professionals and their teams alike is Paul Tranny. Paul.
Lo proveremo.
Thank you so much, Scott. So excited to show you Adobe Express. It's a web and mobile app for quickly creating social content, banners, flyers, just to name a few. And it comes with thousands of professionally designed templates.
Sentite bene sia me che Marco?
This helps you jumpstart your design. But you might be wondering, like, as a creative pro, why would I use Express? Well, just to knock out content quickly. Graphics of all types using my creative, because this has to look like my work. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly knock out a social post for the same project Danielle was working on. So let's start about what is in your
tolgo un attimino il loghetto perché
hopefully everybody can mark Adobe Max off your list. And let's go ahead and add a shape behind that text, just to make it stand out a little bit more, and everything just reflows and snaps into place nicely. Now, when it comes to fonts, you have access to all the fonts in the Adobe font library. All 20,000 fonts are available to you. Probably all judging me on my font choice, aren't you? Shame, actually. You have recommendations, and so does Express. So using AI based on design, it'll serve up appropriate fonts. No Comic Sans here or Papyrus, because it's not an avatar poster. It's a travel journal, and Express knows that. All right, I need to replace the background really fast. It's so easy to do, and you have access to millions of images with Adobe Stock integrated. So we could search on scenic. Let's get a nice scenic background. back.
Ogni tanto si
around.
blocca.
Don't worry. And just returns about
Sono
3
loro che
images. So let
probabilmente
me
quando vanno in
slowly
caricamento
scroll through
si
each one of these.
Immagino di sì.
Bear with me. Let's just go with that one. So notice how it doesn't ask me for credits and it doesn't give me a watermark, uploads the actual high-res version, and check this out, like you have access to premium images as a Creative Cloud member. So we could add or remove filters, we could detach it from the background to move it around freely if we want to.
Ha ragione
Really,
Giovanni,
you have creative control. So tens of thousands
come annotazione, visto che tanti pensano che
of fonts,
solo il Mac
hundreds
si
of
possa
millions of
utilizzare
images.
per
Can I say
lavorare bene.
my mind? And we're just getting started. But it also has your stuff with Creative Cloud
Vorrei dire
Library
che comunque
integrated.
alla
This happens
presentazione
to be a
dell'Apple
shared
c'era un errore del Mac.
Danielle has
insomma,
access to all my Photoshop and Illustrator work. Take that, drag it out, and start
Non ho
using
capito
it
perché stanno facendo
like
queste cose
so.
come se fossero
Nice
chissà
little
quale novità.
Illustrator
Praticamente Adobe
collage.
Spark
We
non
can
è
just rotate
che...
it.
Sì, ci sono i tool in
And
più,
do
ma
ma
something
questo è
like
Adobe
that.
Spark.
hai
che
l'editor,
sta
no,
alla
l'editor è
fine-
più
We put this
complesso,
right on this
sembra
travel
una
journal.
web app. E visto che le tendenze vedono gli utenti preferire
And
le
everything
web
kind of
app
snaps
alle
into
app
place
installabili,
We'll grab
carità, ma...
this
Ma questa
image
è una
just to
web
give it a
app,
human
sì,
element.
Sì, però ti voglio
Now,
dire
for
io
this image, I just
cioè,
need
Adobe
to knock
Spark
out the
essenzialmente
background,
faceva questo
right?
con un layout
That's
meno
so easy to
ampio,
do.
meno
Just
web
check this
app.
out. Remove background quick action. I don't need to open this up in Photoshop.
Questa è
I
la
don't
web
need
app,
to do
non ce
anything, to
l'hanno.
be honest with you. It does it for me,
In
right? Piece of
realtà,
cake.
Remove background per ora non c'è nessuno, te lo posso
And
assicurare.
done.
Non c'è
That's
nessuno
actually
che
one of
lo
the many
fa.
quick actions you'll find like
ma ci sono
throughout
delle app che lo
Express.
fanno queste, lo fanno apposta.
Sì, ci sono
Sometimes
delle app
Creative Cloud
esterne
libraries
che lo
and
fanno.
quick actions
Esterno
just
all'Adobe,
really
ma
making
sono
common
integrato quello.
tasks
Questo sì
easy.
può essere
Yeah.
carino, ma
Let's talk about branding,
a
because this is
coprire
not
quel
on
tipo di
brand.
mercato.
I just picked a
niente di più.
random font, to be
Ah,
honest
come?
with you, and it's not
Evoluzione
using the
della
right
web
colors.
app.
And Express makes branding easy. I love this. I'm going to go to new
Questo è
browser.
Canva,
You
ragazzi.
can set up your own brand like I've done. You add your colors, your
Ragazzi, è Canva. Cioè,
logos, even your
è
own
proprio
custom
Canva.
fonts for you to use this content, inviting other people, other designers, non-designers, marketers, that a person's always asking you for logo. Yeah, stop bothering me. You have the logo.
È uno
Lo speaker tra poco muore.
All you have to do is go to that project, and all they have to do
Paltrani è
is
uno di quelli
click
che si
apply brand,
fa
and we can shuffle
gli
through
access di ogni
different
Adobe
colors
Max.
of that as well. Changes the
Oltre
font,
anche
gives me the logo. We can move that
al
over.
capellone di
So I
Adobe
love it.
Premiere.
Express really puts you in control of the brand for anyone to use, really anywhere. Even old Todd from marketing.
Francesca,
All right.
No,
So,
Francesca, sta proprio così.
I made this at one size. Luxury of creating at just one size. So let me switch over to
Adesso che cosa fa? Mentre parla con l'ombra
This project.
con un pugno sul tavolo.
lovely animated is the ability to add as much as you want at any size you want. Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Snapchat. I'm using Snapchat. I don't know. I don't. Maybe you are. You can knock out those graphics. And look what it did. It reflowed that content as well. That's what doing magic right there.
Comunque una
It's
grafica
not
che
on
manco
brand,
Free
right?
Bit-
This is my fun part right here. Is jumping in and just applying brand to all of
Ok,
that.
questo è
So
interessante.
any
Ammetti che
screen,
questo
right?
mi
Any
piacerebbe
size for any
averlo
platform.
come funzione.
I'm drunk with power right now.
che ha fatto
Come
una
funziona
All
sorpresa
right.
applicato
Let's
in un
Publish
colpo
is
solo lo
easy.
stile a tutti i
Go to
modelli.
publish, select the platform that you want, like I'm doing right now. Really, any one you want, and as many platforms as you want. We'll jump in there.
La
We'll select all those. We can add
la
a
pianificazione,
caption.
il planning
We'll just
interno
add
è
an
carino.
emoji right here. Take a preview of our work. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Looking great. And this is my favorite part right here. Check this out. A scheduler. Built-in scheduling. You pick the
Sì, il
date,
resize era quello che
you
non ho
pick the
visto perché stavo
time.
leggendo la
It
chat.
puts
Sì,
it
se era
right
il
in
resize.
there.
Comunque, il resize
Looks like I'm
planning,
working.
Ok, anche questo è interessante perché praticamente
Social
hanno preso
media is
programmi
doing
di
its thing,
scheduling.
even on the weekends. You can move this around. You can unschedule stuff for publishing later. But I lied. This is actually my favorite
Hanno
part.
preso Buffer
Using
e l'hanno messo
Express
dentro.
for the scheduler alone.
Anche se
You can take
ovviamente
your
devi
Illustrator,
passare da
your
questi
Photoshop
livelli, qua
content.
siamo su
In this
una fascia
case,
Allora,
consumer
non mi
bassa.
dispiace perché da una parte è
No
un solo
need for a
abbonamento che
separate
compri
service.
per fare tutto. E
Let's just push this out
alla
maybe 2
fine
out here. There's this really cool
l'egemonia
keynote going.
di
Schedule that
Adobe
and
serve a
done.
questo.
So, creating, scheduling,
Sì, però
publishing.
vedila così.
Creative.
L'utente
Maybe
medio
Express really is
che
the
non
best kept
utilizza
secret in
Adobe,
Creative
utilizza
Cloud.
Canva, se ne frega di queste funzionalità. L'utente pro fai certo che abbia già il suo planning a disposizione. E poi c'è sempre la variabile diciamo, del valore del punteggio dell'algoritmo che assegna ai contenuti che vengono dai planning esterni. Per cui non è esattamente così
Express
fluido,
has an
e non è
incredible
detto che
feature
sia
set.
conveniente
It's really
pubblicare
becoming an
anche
essential
queste.
companion for modern day creativity.
Io lo vedo
I'm just really incredibly proud of this team. All the features stuff, libraries integration, social media, content scheduling, all of it is available now. And just a reminder, if you're a Creative Cloud member, you have Adobe Express. So check it out, express.adobe.com. So in the coming year, you're going to start seeing Express in more places across the web. Integrations, wherever you want to edit an image or video, or insert your brand or access the creative power. And one of those things we're announcing today is with Wix, the cloud-based website development platform. So through a seamless integration between Express and Wix, users will be able to edit any media on their websites, including adding effects, animation, and more. And this is really just the first of many partnerships where we're trying to bring creativity wherever you need it on the web with Express. Now, what you saw in Paul's demo is really just the beginning. Express is evolving super fast, and based on your feedback, we have a lot more that's coming in the pipeline. Let me just give you a what is in store. So Express is going to become the world's most agile multimedia editor. You're going to be able to edit video, text, animations, audio, images, vectors, whatever you need for an inventive and engaging social media post. And this really outfits you to create in all major formats for all the key social platforms more quickly than ever before. And there's no need to do everything yourself. We are bringing real-time multiplayer collaboration to Express. So you can just create together and always see what each other are up to. It's really the perfect solution for every shared project. Express has dozens of great editing tools, but sometimes you're just going to want to go further in a product like Photoshop or other Creative Cloud apps to really make your project stand out. Well, no problem. Seamlessly open your project in other apps like Photoshop, make your edits, and then just as easily open it back in Express. We are building Express and all of our products to work together without friction, so you always have this choice. Also bringing new AI super to Express, including the ability to generate a background or an object in your scene just by describing it. And we are delivering breakthrough technology to get this. Create a unique font with the power of generative AI. So you start, yeah, it's pretty cool. You start with any Adobe font, and then you give Express a suggestion, like electric cables, or I don't know, orchid petals, and then Express will generate a one-of-a-kind. I mean,
sì, ma sono sempre cose faccia consumer, basta, cioè chi non
you will not find out on Adobe Stock. So, when you need power and precision, you've got our flagship applications, but when you need speed and ease, Express is here for you and the rest of your team. And the best part, these products work beautifully together. The Express team is constantly shipping, so keep an eye out on Express for these new features and more coming soon. Okay, so let's now shift gears. We're going to talk about Photoshop. And you all, anything is possible. We are in an era where brands are only as aspiring as their latest content. Everyone wants to stand out, and creativity ultimately unlocks self-expression. And so we need Photoshop at our fingertips, wherever and whenever we need it. And over the past few years, we have been on a mission to make Photoshop available everywhere. In 2019, we announced Photoshop on iPad, making it possible to work on a Photoshop project on the train or wherever you find yourself in the world. And last, Photoshop on the web lets you and your collaborators work across any browser together. When we launched Photoshop on the web, it was mostly useful for allowing people to view a project alongside some, a few light editing tools. But the Photoshop team has kept innovating. And over the last 12 months, they've continually rolled out new features, making Photoshop on the web much more powerful. Now, of course, Photoshop on the web doesn't have every tool and capability we've added to Photoshop over the last 30 years, but that's no problem. Photoshop is now ad and web, and with Cloud Documents, you can open up your file on the desktop and access the full power of Photoshop whenever you need it. So let's hear a little bit about what the Photoshop community has been up to over the past year, and then Elisa would demonstrate the flexibility and power of Photoshop everywhere.
dovrebbe essere una cosa veramente polifunzionale.
So we're starting now.
Creative, I'll start that again. Sorry.
E credo che sia in live, tra l'altro.
The last couple of years was hard for most people, but it like gave me a big drive to create.
Currently, my art is more physical prints, laser cutting, and really bright
allora, quella cosa
colors.
della collaborazione tra i vari programmi, in realtà c'è da
Sì, questo è dal pezzo, però se ho capito bene, credo che sia tutto più veloce in tempo reale. Io la collaborazione via cloud ho avuto alcuni problemi quando l'ho utilizzata con altri collaboratori, non sempre era fluidissima. In un paio di casi addirittura ci sono bruciati file.
Io vorrei far notare che hanno fatto vedere una cosa che in realtà non puoi fare, perché tu non puoi avere Adobe installato su 3 computer nello stesso momento, perché comunque l'iPad conta come computer.
Bisogna vedere però effettivamente che cosa intendono loro e bisogna vedere come lo gestiscono, insomma, perché magari è fattibile se passa dallo stesso account, ma oppure da solo un esempio per far vedere che cosa si intendeva tutto qua.
Certo, no, ma è il fatto che a me quando io cerco di loggarmi sull'iPad mi fa sloggare da una delle due piattaforme.
Però ti dico, magari con questa nuova modalità o loro intendevano dirti puoi switchare, cioè puoi collaborare su schermi contemporanei, oppure realmente su più piattaforme se sei con quel tipo di utenza Photoshop. Non lo so, vedremo. Sicuramente è da provare comunque.
Hi, I'm Elisa Wood, design manager on the Photoshop team, and today I'm going to share with you what our team's been working on. So let's go. Here I am. Oh, thank you. So here I am in my email, and Serge has shared with me a link to today's demo document. So I can just click this link. It's going to take me right into Photoshop on the web beta. I don't have to install or download anything. I can get started right away. And on the left, I have tools. On the right is the layers panel where I can add adjustments, effects, masks. So a lot of familiar faces from Photoshop on the desktop, right here in the browser. So it's first thing I want to share with you guys today is now we have full fidelity raw image support here in the browser. So I can come to my place tool, choose a raw image, and it's going to take me right into Adobe Camera Raw here on the web. And with a few toggles here, I can start to adjust the look and feel of this image, playing around with all that data that's in this raw image. So if you've used Photoshop on the desktop in the past, or maybe Lightroom, you will understand why it's pretty exciting that now we have this here on the web. So now that I'm done, what do? I just hit done, and it takes me right back into I can just scale and resize this to get it right where I want it. That is looking pretty good. All right, so that's a raw image that we edited in the browser. Now, the next thing I want to do, because this is Photoshop, is add a few more images, right? I want to do some compositing. I've got this gnarly tentacle that I found on Adobe Stock, and I want to combine it with a few more things. There's some moss, and I need to get rid of the background so it looks like it's sitting on the tentacle. Now, to do this, I could come here and choose any of my OG selection tools like I can also just remove background, and it analyzes the image and removes the background from
I del remove background l'hanno inserito.
That was pretty much already cut out. Well, this one is not. There's a sky, there's some grass, there's general shrubbery in the foreground here. And when I go back to my selection tool, choose remove background, it analyzes the image, and again, it removes it. Perfect. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, and it's Photoshop, so it's all non-destructive. I can come back in, whoops, and keep editing here. I'll just choose the moss mask, change my color, there we go, and use this so you can see how remove background is a really good way to jumpstart a composite workflow, and then you can use core Photoshop features like masking and brushing right here in the browser to make it your own. Get creative with it. All right. So that's looking pretty good. Normally, I might do a little better job, but I'm in front of a few thousand people. So here we go. So that's looking great. And one more thing I want to do before moving on is point out, I've got this new bar here at the bottom, you might have noticed, and it's called our contextual highlights options that are, your most likely. So if I make a selection, you see the options
Non
change.
la vediamo
Now I've
perché è
got
coperta dai
options for
diritti
masking,
dai
content aware fill. It's things that I probably might want to reach for next. And if you're
coperta
someone
dai
like me
cosi.
who sometimes forgets where things are in the UI, it can come in handy. It's probably right there. And you might even find out about some new options
Hi,
that you
Lisa.
didn't know about. So contextual taskbar, going to save you time, make it easier here in Photoshop. Now, like I said, Photoshop on the web is great, and it's really handy for doing some quick editing, some light desktop. We've got you.
Sì, ma lo
All I
diceva
need to do
infatti
is
che
just open desktop here from my header.
Lightroom,
When I do that, it's going to take me right into
Lightroom
Photoshop
Web
on the
porta
desktop.
questa cosa
It's
qui.
going to launch a file right where I left off. All of my layers are here that I created in the web. Even the layer that I was working on last is selected. So it's really easy, no friction here.
Allora, ti dico la verità,
Now
da
that I'm here in the
professionista che
desktop,
lavora in
I want
mobilità
to check
molto
out the
spesso,
updates that
questa
we've
è una
made
bella
to
funzione.
Sky
Mi
Replacement.
piace
So
averla.
Il fatto
with
di
my
poter
background layer
lavorare via
selected, come to
browser,
Sky
loro stanno
Replacement.
seguendo dati e tendenze che ti dicono che gli utenti preferiscono le web
And
app
again, it
appunto all'app
analyzes the
installata ed
image,
è
masks
comodo
out
perché
everything's
così
been doing
uno
some phenomenal work so
mentre in
that now
mobilità
the
se lo
edge detection
prepara,
and
se
lighting
lo
is
può
even
salvare,
better.
memorizzare,
So it really
eccetera, e
looks
poi
like
lo
this is the
riapre quando
original
arriva a
Sky
casa
in the
per
image.
dire
So
quando ha tempo su
amazing results from the
Photoshop.
Sky
Ma
Replacement team here in Photoshop on the
vedi,
desktop.
non sa anche sti cazzi di
So
tutta
this
sta
scene is
roba,
starting to
però
look pretty good, but I'm going to add one final
cioè nel
touch,
senso sono
and
tutte
this is
cose
going to be a
utili, però
gradient.
sono
So
quelle
if you've used
classiche
gradients in
cose
the past,
che
you might be used to thinking, okay,
capita che
before I get started, I need to create a
utilizzi
new
quella
layer,
volta che
and
sei
then I need to make sure that
proprio
my preset is set right and I have the right gradient selected, because if I don't, then I'm going to have to redo it. Well, you know, when you're swiping, it's a lot of trial and error and swiping. It's kind of like dating. Well, it can be, you know, happily married now. But,
Ha fatto una battuta
but with the
sul
new
fatto che fai
gradients, I can just come in
swipe.
here, I swipe,
Tinder.
and I get this great on-canvas UI. I can keep moving things around, scale it down, change my preset. So that's pretty nice. Let me just open this one. There we go.
Sì,
And you can
questa
see how
era
fun
una
it is
cosa che
with this one
serviva.
especially. You can do a little dance.
ma perché
Now, like
se
any
non
other layer, I
c'era morivamo.
come
No,
over
no,
here,
però diciamo che è una
choose a
comodità
new
invece
blend
di
mode.
perdere
Maybe.
tempo.
And another fun thing
Se
about
devo
these new
essere
gradients is
onesto,
because it's fully
insomma,
editable,
inserire
I can
queste
come over
ste
here
robe
and
così,
remove a
giusto
stop just
perché
by
devono
pulling
dire
it
abbiamo
off
fatto una nuova
and add a
versione,
stop,
ma
or clicking. I could even come here and change the color of the stop. So it's non-stop fun here with
Questi
editable
sarebbero stati
gradients
step
in
in più
Photoshop Desktop.
creativi da dover
And
mettere.
just like an adjustment layer, thanks guys.
sì, battiamogli le mani.
Carina, si sta
Just like
prendendo
an
gli
adjustment
applausi.
layer, it comes with its own mask, so I can
Già
start
mi rimasta
masking out
male che
portions of the
nessuno gliene
gradient that
fregava
I
niente, infatti hanno fatto una battuta tipo
want, and
bello!
I can keep moving it around, shot much more powerful and precise. It's what you expect. All right, so I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with this, and I want to share it to see what others think. And just like Danielle and Bria showed you in Illustrator and InDesign, we can do this now in Photoshop. I have Share for Review right here in my Share panel. And I've already created a link, and I've already shared it with a bunch of different collaborators, but they're not seeing what I'm doing in real time. Nobody's looking over my shoulder. There's no hovering art directors here. They only see what I want them to see when I want them to see it. And that's now. So I'll push the update content, and this is pushing the latest to the link. So now everybody can see and share their comments, their thoughts, their concerns, and all of that comes right here into my commenting panel. So I see that there's a lot of love.
Non è che questa volta è in app
There is some
direttamente
thought that maybe
Photoshop.
I understand that. I can remove some.
Quindi
I'll
è
just come
comodo
back
quando
in.
devo
My fully
collegarmi
editable
alla web
gradient.
app per
Pensa così
vedere
il
Pull some of
cliente ti
these
potrà
off.
seguire mentre
And it's
lavori
done.
anche a
All right,
distanza.
so that's the
Immagino
full
una cosa che
consolidated
adoro
comments here
proprio.
for review in
Finalmente potranno
Photoshop.
starti
And
sulla
that's what we've been working
spalla,
on across Photoshop on the web and
tipo
desktop.
Corvetto
Thank
che
you
ti
so much.
controlla. Che bello avere
So thanks to Lisa. So Lisa showed
utenti
some
corvi. Clienti
great
corvi
features
sulla
in
spalla.
Photoshop, but there's just not enough time to show you. And constantly rolling out new features that both speed up your work and let you do things that were just never before possible.
Fino ad ora
For example,
non c'è
we
proprio
can get to
niente
it,
di
but neural filters.
proprio
These are those
Sì, ma c'è la
AI-powered
cosa che
features that do
incazzare
complicated and sophisticated
le
edits with just a few clicks.
funzionalità che
Among
hanno
some
fatto
of the
vedere un
latest
attimo
ones,
dice
just to point a few
aspetta
out,
nel panel
you'll find
dedicato è
depth
meglio
blur,
se no
which automatically
quando
tweaks the
piglia la
background of your photos to help your subjects stand out. Landscape Mixer, which lets you combine two landscape images,
questo parla
change
delle fittine
seasons, or
neurali.
even change the time of day, which quickly brings color to any black and white. Elisa also showcased our new collaboration features in Photoshop. So whenever you need to share that moment in time with a client or a stakeholder, now you know.
Abbiamo capito che la condivisione è importante.
Shipping today. Okay, we're going to now switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about photography. I mean, everyone sees the world differently. And photography enables us to see the world through the eyes and minds of others. I feel it's the images of people, places, and moments that capture the texture of our lives. And it's only when we kind of look back through it all that we realize how much we've really lived. So it makes sense for everyone to be able to take their photography to the next level. And much of the magic comes from what you do after you take the shot. How do you adjust the colors to capture a mood? Or use light and shadow to direct people's attention? Or edit a portrait to bring out your... Lightroom is what professional and amateur photographers around the world use to make their photography truly their photography.
Giovanni, questo è per te.
Over the last year, the Lightroom team has released dozens of new features for desktop, mobile, and web. Many of these use AI to actually easily select and improve specific parts of your image, the sky, the background, individual people, even the specific parts of a person's face. Or you can use one of the many new Lightroom adaptive presets that improve your whole image. With fortunate to spend some time with photographer Michael and see how he uses Lightroom to capture portraits of people and communities in his native Ghana. Let's take a look.
I've always had that feeling where I wonder why I was born. I'm here for something, but I just couldn't figure out what it was. I've always wanted to be a photographer. When I found that that was my true purpose, I didn't hesitate.
Add energy to it too. 1, 2, go.
As a photographer and an artist, I try to focus on those aspects of finding out what makes us feel alive. Because on that, you get the true essence and you put that into a story, and that comes together as an inspiring piece. Before creating an image, I have certain elements that I'm looking for. Most important expression. When I take an image, I know immediately that's the story right there. And most of the time, I can't wait to get home and then start working on that image.
Bring your head closer. Perfect.
Sono molto belli
When
comunque
you look
questi...
at the images, then
vabbè, vorrei vedere che Adobe con il budget che c'hanno, ci mancava pure che faceva schifo.
Happiness, I see freedom, and I see somewhere that I can call home. At the end of the day, I really look forward to
No, Rebel, non
being
usano
inspired
solo...
and
Prima usavano
making someone's life
un
a
Windows
little bit better than it was.
Non sono Mac-centrici. Poi Trani ha sempre usato
for letting us just spend the entire day with you watching
anche nelle live che fa per Adobe.
I want to repeat one thing Michael said. As a photographer and artist, he was saying, I try to focus on finding out what makes us feel
Certo, posso
alive.
dirti che mi manca un pochino l'accento indiano quest'anno.
It's a beautiful mission, it's such an amazing thing to capture photographs of those moments for the rest of us. I feel like that's so much of what that art is all about. Photography is also becoming a more collaborative medium. We have an adventure, a trip with friends, a wedding, any sort of event. So I want to make sure you know about Lightroom albums, which really makes photo sharing super easy, but it also allows for group editing. So your friends can choose their favorites and make their own edits and improvements. It's really a great way to preserve the memories, but also enhance them in a uniquely collaborative way together. Earlier, David mentioned the Content Authenticity Initiative. So a little bit more about this. CAI, as we like to call it, a little easier off the tongue, now has more than 800 members, is developing open source technology available to all that helps establish provenance and attribution of a piece of content. So people who create media can choose to add content credentials that show who made the content and how. And our vision is a world in which much, much more of the content that's created and shared has content credentials attached from anywhere that you make it. And that media, and the media that doesn't, or the media that sort of strikes us and raises questions, we at least can have credentials attached. So adding provenance and attribution is a real powerful solution, we think, to some of the mob challenges that we face today. In a world of social media and misinformation, content credentials can help us determine who made what and how it was made and whether it can be trusted. And I'm proud to say that 2 leading camera manufacturers, Leica and Nikon, are implementing content authenticity into 2 new cameras, making it easy for photographers to attach content credentials to their work from the moment of the shot. And in the wild, wild west of NFTs, content credentials helps prevent fraud by making it easier to see who created a piece of digital art, not just who minted it. And in the world of generative AI, content credentials can help us show what was created by a human and what was created by a machine. And as generative AI becomes part of the creative process, we feel this information will be essential. Because the story behind a piece of
Arriva.
Non c'è audio, Massimo?
Non so perché non lo prende l'audio così. No.
Perché non hai flaggato
no,
l'audio?
Non c'è l'opzione qui. Niente, dobbiamo utilizzare per forza quella.
Video, the storytelling tool of our generation. Stories told in video inspire, sell, and drive change in a way that very few mediums can. But there's nothing easy about making video. Editing is time-consuming. Special effects have a steep learning curve, and video is one of the most intensely. Video team has been on making editing and production quicker and easier through AI and other innovations you're going to see in just a few minutes here. And over the last year, we have integrated Frame.io, the preeminent cloud-based video collaboration tool, directly into Premiere Pro and After Effects. So with Frame.io, you can say goodbye to the clunky old way of reviewing video that involved tons of emails and vague time-coded stamped comments and whatever else. With Frame.io, you know precisely what frame you can even actually circle a part of the video that they're concerned with. And with Frame.io, security comes first. You always know that people who are viewing a video are authorized to do so. Along with integrating Frame.io, we've also added features to Premiere Pro that will make video editing a lot faster. So Karina Anglada is here with Jason Levine, and they will show us in a moment how to, just how we're streamlining the video workflow end to end. But first, let's take a quick look at what video artists have been up to over the last year.
Cosa un?
Visto che ci mancava un drogato sul palco, vuoi vedere chi stanno mettendo ora?
Però sta glitchando a bestia.
I think 2022 has been a real challenging year for a lot of people.
Just made me feel even more passionate about what I do as an editor.
Creativity is necessary to be flowing around us all, to feel better as people.
Sì, Giovanni, penso pure io, effettivamente.
I think the thing that motivates me most creating content that breeds empathy is positive and makes people feel better.
Oh, I really gotta make that. It kind of dawned on me like, wait, I have a responsibility to put out good stuff in the world.
We just want to make the kind of work that we didn't see growing up. Stories about queer people, more inclusive stories. It's just really exciting time.
One of our roles has been guide a very hard conversation, but make it fun.
The best solution that the average person could do is to...
We need art to reflect and make more easily digestible some darker things that might be happening in the world.
Now the challenge is being your most authentic self.
I think that our life experiences will always reflect on the things that we're creating.
We want to celebrate as many types of human experiences as we can as a smaller studio.
Non-corporate safe. Do not talk about these at the water cooler topics. Those are my favorite.
One word I would use to describe 2022 would be...
I'd say
of one stem.
Driven.
The word would be no.
Freedom.
Evolutionary. Ooh.
Hey everyone, my name is Karina Anglada, and I am so excited to share some of the updated features and collaborative tools with just some of our video products. I'm here working in Premiere Pro, where I'm just about ready to share this video for review. But before I do that, I want to verify some of my graphics. So I want to call attention to the timeline here. I've got this lower third, which is actually a motion graphics template from Adobe stock. Motion graphics templates are special because they're fully customizable, from the text to the colors to the size. And we have thousands of them, just like this one here, where again, everything is fully editable. But one of my favorite design elements to use are animated transitions like this one. Here we've got these cool effects applied to the footage, and everything is self-contained in this one blue clip. But if I were to make something like this manually, it might look something a little more like this sequence here. I've got 6 different video layers of light leaks, film grain, and if I wanted to make any adjustments to this, it would be extremely time-consuming. Well, new to Premiere is something called media replacement with motion graphics templates. So if I want to replace this first sewing machine shot and swap it with something else, all I need to do is a simple drag and drop into the Essential Graphics panel, and it's instantly updated on my timeline. So media replacement with motion graphics templates lets me reuse my graphics, saves me so much time. All right, now I'm ready to share this video for review, and that's where one of my favorite features, Frame.io, comes into play. New to Premiere is the Frame.io review panel directly integrated into the platform. Frame.io is the best way to share and collaborate with others. It consolidates my comments and feedback, and it centralizes my projects and assets. So I'm going to add my friend Jason Levine to this project, and I'm going to upload this sequence directly into Frame.io. What's amazing is I can check this box, which ensures that my markers on the timeline here upload as frame-accurate comments. So I'll upload this video, it gets sent to the cloud, and Jason is going to leave me some feedback.
Oh.
Così.
Hello, creative humans.
Fai il sexy.
Very nice to see you all. So lovely to be back. Well, here I am in the browser in Frame.io, and just like Bria showed you earlier, it is incredibly easy to add markups and comments, but more importantly, the most important thing of all, frame accurate comments and markups. Right here. Yes! Thank you, sir, in the back.
Quello di prima moriva, questo invece esplode.
Very similar tools. You can draw or paint directly onto a singular frame of video. Or you can use things like the arrow tools to call out areas like blown out highlights, or just calling attention to a specific region of your video frame. Any of you can do this. You feel me?
Yeah.
They locked away from it. All right. So let's tackle Karina's comments. The first one here is, how does this look? And I'm assuming she's talking about the general look of this. It looks lovely. I love the shot, but it does look a little bit flat compared to some of the other frames that I saw before. So I'm simply going to come down to the comments field here and type needs color correction or needs color correction, whichever it is. She will understand me. And that frame-accurate comment will now be sent directly from here to the review panel in Premiere Pro.
Ben arrivata.
Ciao, Michela.
Perfect. Let's go to the next one here. How is the audio? Now, we've been working really, really hard on this audio track. We went through thousands and thousands of songs in dozens and dozens of styles, all available via Adobe Stock Audio. So I'm very concerned. I want to hear how the eventual mix turned out. I want to see how this really turned out. So let's take a quick listen and see. And it's beautiful, except that the music keeps playing and we've already faded to black. So she needs to now cut that track to fit the end of the video. So I'm simply going to come back down to my comments field here and say trim music to end of video and send that off. And
Siamo sempre sul concetto di sharing.
Now for the last comment here, she's asking my thoughts on the animation. And no doubt, she's referencing that motion graphics template that you just saw moments ago. And I love this. I love all the effects that have been applied. I just love the whole look of this thing. But I seem to recall that in an earlier version, she used a different overhead shot, a shot of this sewing machine that was really, really cool. It really popped. Now, if you look in the top left corner of the browser here, we have this incredible ability in Frame.io to compare versions of different edits. So when I go into the compare version window here, let me just back up a little bit. Okay, now we can play this back. I can see exactly what, and there it is. There's the shot. There's the overhead of that sewing machine. That is the one that I want. It's version 1. So I'm going to go back to the player here, back into my comments here.
Diciamo è euforico.
Clip 1.
Secondo me sta proprio fuori.
Version.
No, vabbè, Levin è sempre stato così.
It's that editor reviewer thing. You get what I mean. Yeah. Friends, it is that simple. Anyone can do this. Anyone can review video, markup video, and do it frame accurately. It is truly the best way, the easiest way, nay, the only way, with Frame.io in the browser to send those comments right back to Premiere Pro and have them appear in your timeline. Thank you very much.
Almeno un po' più vivo dell'ultimo video, dai.
Awesome. I see Jason's comments here in my Frame.io review panel, but it would be useful if I could see them directly on my timeline. So I'm going to go ahead and import comments, and boom, there are his added in green and my original markers in blue. And when I click each comment, it takes me to the exact frame where he left me the feedback. So here he wants me to need some color correction with an M, but I won't give him any hard time about that. I need to color correct this clip. Now, I'm not a professional colorist, so I need something to help me jumpstart the color grading process. AutoColor is a one-click color correction tool powered by Adobe Sensei machine learning that helps me do just that. I click AutoColor, and it instantly applies that color correction. What's amazing is I still have full control here with the sliders, and when I toggle the before and after, I see the difference is dramatic. So I get one-click color correction with AutoColor. I'll check off this comment, and here go to the next one, where Jason wants me to trim my music to the end of the video. And when I zoom out of my timeline, I see my purple music track from Adobe Stock is far too long for my video. Now what I could do is simply drag and add a fade, but that's being a little lazy, if we're being honest, and I take a lot of pride in my work. With the Remix tool, I can shorten or lengthen any piece of music to the exact duration I need. What's amazing is Premiere Pro is going to analyze the music, and it will preserve the beginning and end of my song. And it will show me what these transition edits are with these wiggly lines. So let's take a listen and see how it did.
That was envisioned from your mind. It's really magical.
Did you guys hear that transition edit? No, exactly, yes, applause, because the Remix tool did the work for me, saving me so much time and energy, and that is the incredible power of the Remix tool. All right, I have one last comment to get through, and here Jason wants me to swap out this piece of footage with another one, and again, just like before with media replacement with motion graphics templates, all it is a simple drag and drop, and it's updated, ready to go on my timeline here. All right, I'm ready to share this final version, but this time I'm gonna go back to Frame.io, and I'm gonna share this as a presentation. This gives me my own custom branding. I have the option to password protect it, allow downloads, and when I click the link, it's ready for me to share. These are just a few of the incredible features and the new ways to collaborate. We cannot wait to see the work that you create. Thank you.
Non ho capito quei simboli che c'erano nella traccia in basso, le linee ondulate.
Thank you. Thanks, Karina, and thanks, Jason. Thanks, Karina, thanks, Jason. So that is just a taste of the latest and greatest in the video tools. We've been rolling out hardware acceleration and other performance improvements, improved handling of graphics and titles, added new quick export features, and so much more. It's also great to see the integration of Frame.io, Premiere Pro, and After Effects really coming together to accelerate collaboration and sharing. More coming on that front as well. So now let's check in with Frame.io co-founder Emery Wells and team to hear about the latest developments in camera to cloud. This is a revolutionary technology that automatically transfers footage from a set anywhere in the world. So a set that's active, right? This footage then goes to the cloud in real time, so post-production can start before shooting has even concluded. Emery.
Thank you, Scott. Since launching Camera to Cloud 18 months ago, we have heard from so many of you around the world about how impactful it's been to your work. Glenn Ficarra, the director of the hit series We Crash, said, "Camera to Cloud has revolutionized our work. We can now view a rough cut of a scene before people even get dailies on other platforms." But it's not just films. Sports teams such as the Golden State Warriors are getting clips live from a game out to social media in minutes. And Red Bull Media House has shared that Camera to Cloud has allowed their team to decentralize post-production workflows for multiple outlets across countries and continents. We are super grateful for the dozens of partners who have joined the C2C Connections program, enabling a wide range of products to send assets directly to Frame.io. Today is an exciting day. We have 2 major new partners joining the C2C program, and I'd love to show you.
Chi saranno?
That's right. The Red V-Raptor XL and Fujifilm X-H2S cameras will be the first cameras to natively upload to Frame.io with no additional hardware required. Fujifilm plans to launch in 2023, and the Red V-Raptor and V-Raptor XL will be available later this year. To tell you more, I'd like to introduce Senior Director of Innovation, Michael Cioni.
Thank you, Emery. This is what we've been waiting for, a future that doesn't require shipping hard drives, a seamless connection from camera to post. Fujifilm X-H2S can upload RAW stills, and the Red V-Raptor and V-Raptor XLs can upload 8K RAW or any flavor of ProRes directly to Frame.io with no additional hardware. In fact, you can do both at the same time. To demonstrate this, I'm going to ask Liz to join me up here and actually connect this Raptor XL to Frame.io from scratch. We're going to start in the media menu. From there, we see an entirely new way to connect to the cloud through network offload. We can enable that, and we see Frame.io as an option for connection. Once we hit connect, we get a 6-digit code. Liz can now lift up her phone, and this is the Frame.io iOS app.
Ovviamente tutte queste cose qui che hanno le super fibre, fallo in Italia, che te trovi certe volte col 3G a navigare, voglio vedere a passargli il video originale. Stai là tipo dammi 5-6 giorni e fai la fine di caricare. Guarda, lascio la telecamera per strada.
Easily, we can connect everything to the cloud, and we could shoot a take. Don't think of the cloud as being solely about speed. Think about how the cloud increases flexibility and control. Imagine your camera raw and still files being instantly backed up and accessible with Frame.io's collaboration tools to anyone without downloading or shipping. As bandwidth continues to improve, the expectation of instant access to media will become a standard in every single workflow, and Frame.io Camera to Cloud unlocks it all. What we're seeing right here is the first ever automatic transmission of an 8K RAW file and ProRes file with every ounce of available camera metadata. So you'll be able to upload your still, video, RAW, and proxy files directly into Frame.io straight from these cameras. We cannot wait to see how productions utilize this new workflow to unlock an entire new world of creative control.
Intanto qua abbiamo fatto il
And now,
salto,
we'll
perché
hand it back to you,
se
Scott.
vedi da prima, con Premiere hanno unito comunque un pochettino i puntini dalla fascia consumer ai pro e adesso siamo
Thank you, Emery
fascia
and
pro.
Michael. This is really an exciting breakthrough for the video industry as a whole, and it really is just a start. The
È
roadmap
curioso che
for
quel
Camera
discorso di
Cloud is
Photoshop e delle AI
pretty
le hanno
mind-blowing.
fatto vedere 3 secondi, non ti hanno fatto vedere nient'altro. C'era un'estensione del file, era un'estensione a 4 lettere che non ho riconosciuto
Creativity is now a team
attimo,
sport.
erano
The
4
first question many
lettere
of us ask when we start a project
e poi
is
è
who are
andata
we going to
avanti.
work with? Bringing in more people doesn't just help distribute, it brings in diversity of perspectives, inspirations, and ideas that
Potrebbe
are
anche essere quello.
by engaging more
Però adesso l'hanno
stakeholders,
dichiarato,
creativity
cioè cacchio
becomes
l'hanno
more
fatto
central
vedere e
to
sembrava
every
pure figo, poi
experience
ovviamente
and to
bisogna
every
vedere
business.
tutte le
The
famose
challenge, of
versioni che
course,
abbiamo visto,
is
ma
how to make all of this seamless and efficient.
Io ti dico,
How do you
ho
efficiently
sentore
brainstorm
che
together, gather perspectives, and share work when your collaborators could be in any time zone, anywhere in
aspetta,
the world?
ridimmi perché non te
That's
sto
why we've been
sentendo.
working to
Che
bring
hai detto?
seamless, asynchronous
sono molto convinto che utilizzeranno come media library per addestrarlo proprio la Adobe Stock.
Probabilmente sarà così. Intanto io oggi ho scritto ad Adobe Stock e mi ha risposto in maniera molto sibillina e mi sono fatto un giro dentro Adobe Stock, ho notato le cose che ho scritto e sto aspettando la risposta del customer care degli Stati Uniti all'ennesima domanda che gli ho fatto.
Let's take a look at how some of these capabilities are helping the team behind one of the world's most iconic brands.
Coca-Cola is a brand that is 136 years old. We have Coca-Cola sold in more than 200 countries.
The second most common word in the world is Coke, other than OK.
It's a brand that people have an emotional connection with.
The brand is much more than Coca-Cola. It's the Coca-Cola company, and we have $20 billion brands. Keeping that creative energy going is a full-time job.
We are not a new brand, we are a legacy brand, making sure that whatever we do is respectful for what the brand stands for.
We recognize and we pay attention to our consumers. We know they are constantly changing and they want something new.
How do we balance the timelessness of the brand with the timeliness?
So you have to make sure that you're relevant, fresh and interesting.
If you make a mistake, the impact of that mistake could be big because just by the fact that the business is huge.
The way the world works now is like everything needs to be delivered yesterday. If we had different tools for every agency we worked with in every region, we wouldn't get anything done with the speed that we need to and also the scale.
We have agencies in all countries in the world, so it's not just one point of view. We kind of make sure that we include diverse point of views. This to me is a big challenge when you're dealing with global brands. All the 200 countries are doing work by themselves.
It is challenging, but it's a good challenge, and it's a challenge that keeps us evolving the way that we design, evolving the way we work, and evolving the way we ultimately come up with our good concepts.
If you look at the contour model, it says that design a glass silhouette that is recognizable even when it's broken in pieces.
Coke Red doesn't change over 130 plus years. Someone posted in our chat, they said, what is the hex code for Coke Red? Answer came immediately, and it was FF0000. And I looked at it and I said, nope, it's F40000. If you don't know it and you don't use it every single day, there can be version control issues.
People know what something looks like so clearly, like our Spencerian script and our colors. You start to ignore it. Fixed and flex is actually something that we talk about, ensuring that some elements are fixed, but then where there's opportunity to flex depending on that market. We're not going to change our logo. We stay true to that, but we want to remix it in ways that it's interesting to people.
What I love is that the tools are all integrated. The moment that we go into motion, photography, and imagery, this could all be part of the same experience that we're designing for Adobe Creative Cloud. The integration between the tools is perfect.
Adobe is very centralized to everything we do, regardless of your design discipline. We all have this common tool that we use.
When we're working with many different regions, you kind of look for that universal language. If we're literally speaking a different language, that I know if I get a file that I can open up and I can read it.
It's really helpful for us to be able to share assets to anyone who needs them who don't have the fonts and the logos and the correct color palette. We use Frame.io for all of our internal reviews as well as our external reviews.
sì,
It
che
allows
vabbè, però ancora
for input
25
from
minuti ci
multiple
stanno.
people at different times.
We use a lot of different tools
Sono
for
curioso
collaboration and also
Dovrebbero adesso,
all
comunque
of
devono
those
parlare per forza di
assets in one
Substance
place.
perché c'è il
We
nuovo
want to have
ND.
consistency across
Quindi
all the
forse ci
different
passa
user
adesso, però After
experience
Effects non hanno
touchpoints.
nessun cacchio.
The work of hundreds of
C'è
thousands
quella
of
novità
people
che mi
that
sono
came
spoilerato oggi delle
before me
maschere, ma
have allowed
basta,
for this
media
brand to
encoder non ha
exist in the way
niente,
that it
tutto
does. It's
schifo,
our
tutto
responsibility to carry that
la
forward for the next
collaborazione di
generation.
After Effects, per esempio. Vediamo.
So a quick thank you to the Coca-Cola team for sharing some of your behind the scenes. All right, so we are going to talk a little bit more about collaborative creativity. Shantanu and David shared this morning just how excited we are to welcome the Figma team. I have known Dylan Field, Figma's co-founder and CEO, for over a decade, and I have just long admired how their web platform, multiplayer capabilities, their extensive developer ecosystem totally reimagined the world of product design and development. Most recently, the Figma team released FigJam, which outfits any team across any company for ideation,
infatti mi sono
whiteboarding, and new
registrato
ways to
anch'io alle
collaborate
sessioni
in
di
this hybrid world
Substance.
of work.
La prima,
Our teams
insomma,
are
io ho
so
scoperto
excited
di
about all there
MD
is
che
to
sarebbe
learn from
stato
one
rilasciato
another,
proprio
and we've
perché
got a lot of ideas
un
about
po'
all
di
the
tempo
fun things
fa
we can
mi
do
ero
together.
registrato al
Let's take a
pannello e
quick
da lì
look
l'ho
at
scoperto e
Figma
sono
in
risalito alla
action,
beta.
and then Dylan will join me for a quick chat.
Però, siccome qui hanno fatto una carrellata di vari programmi, insomma, delle novità più o meno. Abbiamo capito che possiamo collaborare col browser in tutti i modi possibili. Vabbè, le musichette sono carine, però dai.
Dylan,
hey,
welcome to Max.
Thank you.
So for those in the audience who haven't tried Figma before, can you give a quick description of what Figma is and what do you think has made it so successful over the decade your team's been working on it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Scott, thank you for having me. I'm so pumped to be here. This is my first Max.
Questo qua che c'ha 14 anni.
Thank you for welcoming me. So, a bit
infatti
about
io devo ancora
Figma's a
disinstallare la vecchia
platform
beta
for
pure
product
mia.
development teams. And 10 years ago, we started Figma with this belief that product design work should live in the browser, not just for efficiency, but also for more openness and for better collaboration. And this was a very controversial belief at the time. People told us that if this is the future of design, they were changing careers. But thankfully, it also headed and tracked to where the world was going. So we are still, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, in the middle of a multi-decade shift from a physical economy to a digital economy.
Guarda, semplicemente hanno acquistato piattaforme e infrastruttura e ovviamente l'hanno assorbita. Vabbè, ma Adobe fa sempre così, assorbia tutto, poi scorpora, incorpora, eccetera.
To stand apart. People saw this and said, hey, I want to be involved in the product design process, even if they weren't a quote-unquote designer. And as a web-based product design tool, Figma has tried to welcome them in. So today, product design is no longer just one part of product building. It's also the brainstorming phase, and it's the research work that precedes it, which is why we built a second product, which we shipped last year, FigJam. And FigJam is a whiteboarding tool that can also be used for brainstorming, ideation, diagramming, and it's also can be about the code that follows the design process too. And so we're really trying to make Figma into this end-to-end product experience.
So it's important that Figma has autonomy within Adobe and that the design community really benefits from the work we do together. So after Figma joins Adobe, what are some of the first additions to the product roadmap that you're excited to tackle? And I'm curious if there are any specific requests from the community.
Yeah, there is so much that I'm excited to do here and so much I'm excited to build. So by collaborating with the Adobe team and utilizing Adobe's technology, I think we're going to be able to build way more capabilities into the Figma platform faster. So first, Adobe has core expertise in a bunch of areas, many of which we've talked about today, such as video, imaging, vector, 3D, and we know that working in these areas
is also part of the product design process as well.
Ah, vero, avevo visto un video.
We don't serve that very well in Figma today. So one of the first things, to answer your question, one of the first things that I think we'll do. Drum roll please. Adobe fonts. But intertwine today, that was awesome. I think it might give fonts a run for their money, so we'll see. I watched the demo, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I want that now. We'll chat backstage. We'll figure that out. Okay. But anyway, so we'll always keep listening to the community, though. And, of course, as people give us feedback, we'll adjust accordingly.
Sento solo io un po' di grigeria.
I remember you talking about this notion of eliminating the gap between imagination and reality. And I have to say a lot of the founders I mentor, when they send me a link to the product they're building, it's always a Figma link these days. Where are you in the pursuit of this? Yeah, so for me, closing the gap between imagination and reality, that means giving people the tools they need to get something
hanno annunciato un sacco di cose, ma
un sacco di cose,
hanno annunciato qualche cosina, ma
that's part of why we create Figma, to bring people into the product design process from the start in a way that's easy to use, engaging, but also really fun. And looking ahead to our future opportunities with Adobe, even beyond product design, we can start to reimagine the future of creative tools on the Figma platform. And of course,
sto aspettando infatti il 3D per così curioso di vedere, perché col 3D parleranno al VR.
As we build these new tools, these new spaces, we can start to bring the power of visual collaboration into that works for everyone. So much to do, and really excited for this.
C'è da capire
Che cosa? Quella funzionalità lì? Non ho capito.
Tutte le funzionalità.
Vabbè, questo basta aprire Photoshop e poi si vedrà. No, ma comunque l'hanno lasciate, secondo me l'hanno modificate, perché il bridging con Substance c'è. Avevano messo
Over the last couple of years, we've seen the adoption of 3D design explode among companies, organizations, including
vorrei vederlo, cioè cacchio Adobe Max e Keynote.
And many more. These companies are using 3D tools to do things that used to be done in more expensive and time-consuming ways, like creating marketing images for catalogs, websites, and ads without the need for traditional photo shoots. And they're creating renderings of new products that don't even exist to more easily test ideas with customers. Designers at Salomon, for instance, say that creating prototypes in 3D, as opposed to having far-off factories creating physical versions, has cut the time required by more than 60% and allows them to produce 10 times as many prototypes. Designers love the efficiency of 3D and exploring ideas more quickly. But 3D is about more than just efficiency. Anyone who has played a modern game knows the unique capability 3D has, creating these beautiful, detailed and enveloping worlds, and pretty much every immersive game that you've all played was touched with a Substance 3D product. As we look into the future, it's clear that immersive experiences, including those powered by augmented reality and virtual reality, will play a huge role in our everyday lives. So we have been building the Adobe Substance 3D suite to enable seamless production of 3D assets and experiences. And for those of you that are new to the world of 3D and immersive creation, it all starts with a 3D shape or model. Now, there's a good chance you can find a model to start with in our stock collection within the Adobe Substance 3D library. Substance 3D assets include thousands of models, everything from people to buildings, furniture to clothing, and materials and textures galore. And if you want to create your own model, the latest addition to the Substance suite is the perfect tool.
Io insisto nel dire che la regia è embriaga, cioè stanno facendo vedere dietro come funziona quel pannello, che è importante, pochissimi lo conoscono, e inquadrano a lui, è tutto l'evento che fanno così. Porca miseria. Senti, c'è il numero di telefono.
Let's take a quick look at Modeler in action, introduced by Giovanni Nocco. Giovanni.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, I'm Gio, and I'm excited to show you Adobe Modeler, which is our new 3D app that pretty much lets you manipulate geometry with a feel and tactility. So here in desktop mode, you can use adjustable shapes to pretty much block in the primary forms of a character under the guidance of our intuitively designed gizmo tool, pretty much.
digital sculpting,
now Modeler can
essenzialmente, Luca.
seamlessly transition from desktop to VR. So I tend to kind of
Ecco,
go to
vedi,
VR
te
a
l'avevo
lot
detto io.
early on in the process because I love the expressivity that I can get out of it. In this mode, I have the freedom to use my hands and sculpt on the surface in a much more natural manner. So capturing rhythm and flow with these shapes are pretty much important to me as they define the personality and attitude of whatever character it is I'm
poi
building.
dall'altra invece c'hai MD solo per Windows.
So pretty much the most exciting thing about VR for me, you know, whenever someone asks me, is the feeling that my sculpture is actually there. You know, it's hard to communicate that with watching it on a flat screen as we are right now, but, you know, allows me to see the forms in a
ma guarda, io ho
three-dimensional
provato
scale.
con il visore VR
I can
Oculus di
resize this as big as a
Facebook, non
school
è
bus,
semplice come lo
and
fanno
it'll
vedere
really
loro,
feel
c'è
like
un
the dragon
impazzire.
is up there looking at me.
Ma non
in
il software in sé,
the
perché
same
è
space that I'm
difficile
occupying, which is really
girare
cool.
intorno virtualmente
Now, with the surfacing tools,
all'ambiente, non è proprio così
detail that
immediato.
flows in a natural,
Ma penso
organic
ci sia molto
way.
più
It's kind of more like an
muscolare.
airbrush, which gives me a lot of nuance with my strokes.
Guarda, io ho provato non
Also,
quello di
the
Adobe,
freedom
ovviamente
to
un altro, è
duplicate,
di
grab,
sculpting
and
con il
place
visore
digital clay.
VR,
These are all
insomma,
actions that would take
non mi sono
so much
divertito
longer in
neanche.
desktop, but in VR, it's so
Video
super
delle
quick and
funzioni
super
carine,
natural. I can sculpt one of those clumps, and other copies can inherit that modification.
Qua fanno vedere queste cose fighe, ma
From here, I can quickly
io ho visto un paio di festival.
perché alla fine anche da brush
No, però qui siamo in ambiente VR, però,
Exploring design,
quindi l'ambiente VR, devo dire, è molto più tosto da affrontare.
Sì, ma anche a braccio ti fa queste cose quando vedi fare
Vabbè, però non ti braccio, ma col VR che devi girare, cioè devi ruotare la scena, perché non è che ti puoi muovere tu in tutta la stanza, hai un capannone.
So thanks, Gio. So one of the things that makes Model unique is this VR interface. What specifically does VR bring to the equation?
Yeah, the ability to switch between both modes for me is what makes Modeler unique. You know, when I put on the headset, I could see the sculpture directly in front of me. I take it off, desktop app does the same. And it's that seamless transition that pretty much allows me to choose the right sort of mode for the given situation. You know, it's interesting because I'm in VR, as I mentioned, I'm very expressive and dynamic, but when I'm in desktop mode,
infatti
I'm
fanno sempre vedere
very
tutto
controlled and
fighissimo,
detailed.
5 minuti,
Modeler
giri.
satisfies
Una volta ho
both.
provato a fare una palla
So now that you created this amazing dragon model, so what do you do with this? What are the next steps to bring it into an immersive world?
Yeah, there's many things I can do with it. For instance, I can take it into Substance Painter where I can apply materials and textures. And then from there, you can take it onto an app like Stager where you could render it as a still image where you can use Photoshop to augment it, paint over it, create an illustration. And lastly, you can give life and motion to it, similar to what you see in AAA games and visual effects films through animation. Pretty much.
Ok, animato con
Awesome.
cosa
Well,
però.
thank you, Giovanni.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bella citazione, Michela, ma questa
really
la
excited
capiamo
about
io
Modeler. It's
te,
available
Marco,
now
pochi
on
altri
desktop, and of
purtroppo.
course works with Meta Quest 2 and Quest Pro VR headsets. So check it out. And as Gio mentioned, there are so many things that you can do with your 3D model. Many companies are using models like this and Substance 3D, all the products, to create these industry lifelike and flexible scenes that are indistinguishable from traditional photography. So Wes McDermott is going to show us how, using Substance Painter, the leading tool for applying the materials and textures that make 3D models look real, stageless, which puts those 3D objects into a full scene. Wes.
Cioè 30 minuti per far vedere la cordicella
if you are
di
looking to
Illustrator.
extend the work that you're doing in Photoshop and Illustrator, or just get into 3D, Substance Painter is the perfect tool for you. Let's take a look. So here I have Substance Painter open, and I'm working on this project for some rugged outdoor gear. The backpack and the materials, they're coming from Substance 3D Assets. 3D Assets is a
Marco,
content library that contains
3D, ma hanno già
thousands of
finito,
materials and models that you
hanno
can use to
detto,
get
avevano
your
detto solo
Substance
quelle cose
Painter
che hai
project
sentito e
started
basta.
quickly.
Cioè,
And here, for the
cosa
water
di
bottle, I created that
MD
myself
con,
using Substance Modeler.
sculpting virtuale
Now,
finisce
you can
lì.
leverage content that you create in Photoshop or Illustrator and transform that into a 3D material. So here I have this graphic for outdoor adventures, and I want to take this and turn it into an embroidered patch that I can place on the front of my backpack. So let's jump back over here to Substance Painter and take a look. All right, so to get this started, I'm gonna grab this embroidery material, and I'm gonna place it right here on the front of the bag. Now, I'm gonna take that Illustrator graphic, and I'm gonna place it as the image input, and you'll see within a second, there is my patch. Let's zoom in and take a look. So the color values have been transformed into threads and stitching, and I have full control over this. So for example, if I come over and maybe change something like the thread size, I can do so by just adjusting the slider, and you'll see again within a few seconds that updates. It looks great, and that is the power of Substance Materials to transform your Illustrator content into a 3D material. So now I would like to just bring my attention over here to my water bottle, and I'm going to start or focus on this sticker.
Alla fine se la
Again,
giocano
I'm using
loro
a
e quelli
graphic
di
from Illustrator,
Pixel, come
and I've been able to apply this graphic using the sticker material, of course, downloaded from Substance 3D Assets. Now, what I'd like to do is add just a little bit of weathering. Let's take a look at how we can do this. So I'll select the layer here, and let's come down and, let's take a look at my properties. I'm going to increase my fold density here. And you'll notice here that I start to get some folds on the sticker, gives it a bit more 3D in depth.
È simpatico, ma essenzialmente sono le funzionalità degli smart material che già c'erano, cioè nel senso che li lasciavano vari utenti, adesso li hanno implementati all'interno.
So I'm just going to come over here to this slider, and I'm going to make an adjustment, and you can see that, well, that's awesome. I can completely just peel that sticker back and just wrinkle right up the graphic for that corner. Really, really nice. Now, the next thing I'd like to do, while I'm here is why don't I just throw in some damage to the sticker. So here, I'm just going to drag the slider, and we start to get some sticker damage. Well, I'm having fun here. That's a little too intense. No problem. This is Substance. We can always make changes. So here, let's just drop it back a little bit. There we go. Something nice and subtle. All right. There's my sticker, and I'm happy with that. Now, taking a look at the water bottle. Looks a little too clean. So here, I want to use the power of Substance Painter to add a little bit of edge damage. To do that, I'm going to grab this metal edgeware generator that ships with Painter, and I'm going to drag and drop it right here onto my layer stack. Now, you'll see we're starting to get an effect, but again, I can make changes to this. Let's come over to the properties, and I'm going to just increase this wear level. You can see I can dial this effect up and down, maybe add a little bit of grunge to this. Again, having a lot of fun, maybe a little too much, so let's just drop this back. We want to keep this a little bit subtle, and there we go. Now my bottle's starting to look like I want. I'm pretty happy with this.
Se non avessi un coso esorbitante,
il costo effettivamente della suite è alto, cioè nel senso in rapporto alla Creative Cloud è abbastanza alto oggettivamente. No Marco, non ti preoccupare, non gli smonti la presentazione perché è un pezzo che la
Marco, poi
non pensate che te sei perso chissà che cosa. Hanno messo funzioni collaborative, comunque quelle sono fighe, un paio di cosette carucce, sono passate così un attimo le AI su Photoshop che sembravano essere tolte, ma proprio un attimo, però le hanno fatte vedere bene, solo che è stato veramente un secondo e prodotto non era affrontare lo schermo, ma i bastardi l'hanno messo inclinato, quindi non volevano far vedere tutto per bene. Io per esempio la suite Substance utilizzo tantissimo Stager, ma non avete idea quante volte devo saltellare, diciamo, per gestire il peso del file perché mi crasha a bestia. Certe volte ho fatto dei test con un cubo e 2 o 3 luci con rifrazione e crashava il programma. Cioè vecchi bug che c'aveva Dimension, ora su Dimension alcune cose vanno meglio, ma Stager adesso non solo le ultime versioni aggiornate 6-7 giorni fa quando è stato, ma insomma non è che effettivamente fosse così semplice. Cioè in rapporto te pigli Cinema 4D e eventualmente ci metti coso Marmoset, perché ha anche le animazioni, la profondità volumetrica, perché la volumetria Stager come Marmoset e altri tool non la gestisce manco niente.
Now let's jump over here to Stager. Now Stager is a tool that makes it very easy for me to, stage 3D assets into a scene so that I can render them for use in something like, a marketing campaign or an advertisement. You can see here that I have the 3D content I just sent over from Painter, and then here in the background I have this 2D image, and we're going to composite these two guys together. So here, let's just go ahead and re-enable that. To start this off, I'm going to select my camera, and I'm going to click this Match Image button. Now, here, Stager's going to use some, crazy machine learning magic to create lights and match my camera perspective. So I'll click OK here and let Stager do its thing. And there we go. It's done it. Thanks a lot, Stager. I like to thank the robots, for their AI work. Just in case someday.
No, però Stager tieni conto che è il fratello maggiore di Dimension, guarda che ha una marea di tutti in più. Sono piccolezze sparse, però hanno il loro perché.
Sì, ma l'automazione dell'algoritmo.
No, questo sì, infatti per adesso non è che ha fatto vedere chissà che cosa.
Just simple slider adjustment brightens my scene up. That's looking pretty good. Now, looking at this 2D image, I can see that my sunlight's coming here from this side of the screen. Now, what I'd like to do is take my sunlight and point it or reorient it to the top corner of the bag.
Ma che cosa intendi, Marco? Nuovo aggiornamento delle app su Windows, delle app Substance o delle app Creative
Reposition my light. Also, we're going to just increase that intensity value. Let's pump it up. There we go. Looking great. However, I'm taking a look at this shadow and it's looking a little harsh there, a little bit too
computer-generated, as we'll say. And I don't like that. So here I can adjust another slider here called cloudiness,
and that's going to create this nice, realistic fall-off that I would expect in the real world. Awesome. Okay, so there's my render. Super happy with this. I could save this out as a 2D image, like a JPEG or a PNG, and just call it a day.
Quello che dicevo di Dimension non ha la condivisione, che è una cosa fenomenale su Stager, bellissima. Ti permette veramente di associare gli oggetti in maniera molto più... No, ma guarda, Stager è Dimension all'ennesima potenza, su questo non ci piove.
Photoshop. So here we're in Photoshop, and I've just opened that PSD that I exported from Substance Stager. Now, Stager will separate all of my content into its own layer. So, for example, here you can see that I have my 3D assets all available for me, and Stager also creates some additional layers. Let's take a look here. So we have things like a material selection mask.
Una cosa che a me sarebbe piaciuto, che ancora non ho controllato se nell'ultimo aggiornamento l'hanno messa, forse Michela mi sa rispondere. I primi tempi su Dimension c'era il rendering in cloud di Adobe con i crediti limitati. Quella era una bella soluzione, perché ti faceva da render farm in cloud e tu mandavi il file ovunque eri e subito te lo renderizzava. Quello era una cosa bella da inserire, però non so se l'hanno rimessa, devo controllare, ma non credo che non ho letto nessuno.
So thanks, Wes. So that scene, Wes created.
Ma comunque anche qui non è che hanno fatto vedere un cacchio di nuovo, cioè quello che sapevamo, d'altro canto non l'hanno aggiornato adesso Stager né Painter, nessuna delle applicazioni è stata aggiornata, ma vabbè, cose che sapevamo già.
Now, some of that transformation will be in these ambitious, immersive, all-encompassing metaverses, right? Worlds unlike the likes of which we've ever seen before. And some of it will change our everyday lives via augmented reality on our phones and on other devices in the future. Information that pops into view when you need it. New ways of viewing products in a physical space that defy the laws of physics. And transformative ways to work together remotely. The Adobe community, including many of you, are at the forefront of this new medium. So let's take a little look at how teams are creating the future.
The really incredible moment that we're in right now is that we're seeing the beginning of this new era.
Eccomi qua, scusate.
The whole world is just gonna...
Che ero convinto che il keynote durava di meno, quindi di là hanno già ordinato le pizze, mangeranno, io mangerò freddo per colpa di Adobe.
For a designer to embrace
Michela, la taglia
technology and 3D in a wider sense is essential. That's really what this whole transformation is about.
Il rendering cloud non c'è più. No, che non c'era più, lo sapevo. Speravo che l'avrebbero rimessa. Infatti mi chiedevo perché non ho visto, ripeto, gli ultimi aggiornamenti proprio i più recenti.
So this is really win-win for both the customer and us as a brand.
We get much closer to our consumers, and we actually have the opportunity to build a real community, and a community really lives in both directions, right? You really want to have a superior product experience.
Sì, l'accennava prima Michela del fotogrammetria in Stage.
Everyone knows Ben & Jerry's as a 2D illustration style. We have now taken that, put it into the 3D world. We have moved on up. We can do so much more with it.
It was a cool challenge to say, okay, here's this amazing brand, this playful brand. We've got augmented reality to use here. What can we do?
We can use this augmented reality experience in a gamified way where they're understanding what goes into the tub in terms of ingredients and then get it delivered to your home.
these students are digital natives, they're able to realize their vision pretty fast. Every student coming out of the industrial design program knows some major piece of 3D design software.
Product design for me is a humanizing
Android,
capire
la scelta gli portati a mettere il programma.
Secondo me più che scelta in realtà è una questione di scrittura del software. Perché anche per esempio il fatto di questo Substance MD, strano che effettivamente tu dai il pacchetto che costa quello che costa a utenti Windows e Mac e poi gli togli lo sculpting digitale recente e lo metti solo per Windows, a meno che non stiano per rilasciarlo per Mac, però per adesso è Windows.
Sì, purtroppo la mia voce è blocchiata per un problema di
I'm massively excited of everything that is happening in the technology space. It doesn't have to be virtual reality, can be augmented reality, can be mixed reality. But what is clear to us is that those virtual layers, digital layers, will be omnipresent.
Our designers, they love it. We want to be part of the change, and this is all done in 3D, so 3D is really the future for everything.
Mi piace la transizione del nuovo logo Adobe.
Okay, exciting stuff. So much of the future is going to be driven by 3D. So if you haven't begun working in 3D, we encourage you to give it a shot in the coming year. In fact, if you're new to Substance, you can get access to the entire suite for free for a month, and we're doing a 50% off opportunity for the next year. So go to substance3d.adobe.com to check it out.
Substance.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground this morning. Let's do a quick recap. Creative Cloud is helping you create with speed and ease with the new Adobe Express and the newest features and AI superpowers throughout the apps that you use every day. We're streamlining creative collaboration with Share for Review and Frame.io. And we're fueling the 3D creative revolution with the Substance 3D suite, including our newest edition, Substance 3D Modeler. So many features and some new products in Creative Cloud. We couldn't cover them all. Let's take a quick look at some of the highlights.
Vediamo. Ancora il cosetto là, ok. Vabbè, dai, carino. Questo c'avevamo già. Questa della selezione con l'illuminazione smart è carina, model, ok. Ok. Capture, ok. E qui a machine learning a palla. Si presenta l'archivio dell'erno, di tutti automatici. Sì, Marco. Aspetta, abbasso il volume della musica, è interessante.
No, è interessante inserito nello stock.
Oh, aspetta, hanno colorato su After Effects, adesso c'è... E questo è tutto quello che fanno vedere After Effects, comunque ci sono altre cose.
Ragazzi,
hanno colorato
i keyframe. Fanno vedere.
Okay. So before we end this morning, I do have to
probabilmente
should we do this again next year? What do you think?
Che devo pensare?
Do I have any Adobe colleagues in the audience? The people and teams that are behind these products? Can you just stand up for just a second? Come on, Team Adobe. There you are.
Ma vatta.
You know,
in mezzo a un milione di persone.
These are folks that are always up for a challenge, that want to dream and also want to consistently anchor ourselves with what all of you need. So thank you to the teams for all the work this year. The creative world is truly a community unlike any other, and it is really your work that inspires people, including all of us at Adobe, and becomes the foundation for the next generation of creators. We inspire each other, we learn from one another, and we also know how to have a good time. So if you're here in person in LA, my colleagues and I would just love to catch up with you in the pavilion or around over the next couple of days. I hope you'll enjoy seeing old friends. I hope you'll make some new friends. I hope we'll see you tomorrow for day 2. We have just an amazing day lined up. And one last reminder, do not miss the always fun sneaks tomorrow night with the hilarious Kevin Hart, who will join Adobe's Brie Alexander to guide us through some of the wild, new, deep, crazy tech in the Adobe labs. You will not want to miss that. We will see you there. And in the meantime, have an amazing Max. Thanks again for being with us.
E finisce così?
Che altro volevi? Non ha fatto vedere un cacchio. Ecco for watching. Va bene. Diciamo che comunque, insomma, questa keynote, non so, devo essere onesto, mi aspettavo. Non lo so, allora, no, sono soddisfatto delle funzionalità collaborative, quello sì, un paio di cose carine sicuramente.
Sì, comunque niente di nuovo, cioè nel senso anche la collaborazione.
In realtà ho notato che si sono rigiocati cose che insomma abbiamo visto già in passato. Grazie Michela a te, grazie ovviamente a chi ci ha seguito fin qui.
Grazie,
ormai
Michela.
siamo alle battute finali, quindi ciao Marco, c'eri anche tu, non ti avevo visto. Allora, in realtà ci sono molte ovviamente feature in più, perché ripeto già quello che mi ero spoilerato oggi, che adesso
Cioè, Marco di Kaboom mi sta facendo morire.
Perché che sta scrivendo? È finito, no? E poi Marco, e tu pensi che noi siamo stati qua 2 ore, che eravamo lì che aspettavamo, dai, e non ne parlano, dai, adesso questa sera, e non ne parlano. Io aspettavo After Effects perché comunque diciamo volevo vedere che faceva e non ne hanno parlato. Ve la do io una notizia su After Effects che stamattina Mario Baluci a prendere il software, insomma, ha condiviso sta cosa. Semplicemente per chi utilizza le maschere alfa e come si chiama l'opposto dell'alfa, che mi sfugge il termine, in sostanza adesso non c'è più bisogno che la maschera sia sopra il livello da mascherare, che ci sia quel bruttissimo meccanismo di avere la maschera sotto, l'oggetto sopra, queste robe così, e ogni maschera può essere collegata anche a più oggetti, che è una cosa che francamente serviva. Mi è piaciuta anche una sciocchezza che è la colorazione dei keyframe, perché comunque certe volte c'è da impazzire a vedere senza i colori, comunque per chi li utilizza come me costantemente per i livelli, mancare quel dettaglio era importante. E ci sono le relazioni dinamiche che si sono viste per un attimo, ma poi sono curioso di vedere, visto che hanno fatto vedere l'icona di Media Encoder, sicuramente avranno ottimizzato un tool che comunque è una bomba. Volevo vedere se avevano fatto qualcosa di Bridge, che io utilizzo costantemente e penso anche voi, ed è veramente utilissimo, comodissimo per tante cose, ma non l'hanno manco menzionato. Quindi, però il concetto comunque l'hanno chiarito bene all'inizio. Alla fine si stanno muovendo su 2-3 fronti. Uno è ovviamente quello delle applicazioni per i creativi, l'altro è l'applicazione veloce per chi magari non si serve della Creative Cloud. La terza praticamente è la modalità legata all'entertainment, vedi i videogame che hanno citato più volte, AR, VR con i loro software, anche se ovviamente hanno fatto vedere giochi, videogame eccetera, che ovviamente non passano ma manco per sbaglio dai software substance, scusatemi, da Stager, Dimension eccetera. Lì si parla al massimo di designer, painter eccetera. No, nel senso che l'hanno fatto vedere loro, ma hanno fatto vedere un sacco di cose fighe e poi spiegavano che puoi modellare, fare e dire, ma anche no, ma che cazzo, non è che uno va a modellare per i videogiochi con Dimension o con Modeler, poi un domani magari Adobe va e si compra la Maxon, così mette dentro tutto
ma
quanto.
non lo vedo come una cosa
no, ma io ho una battuta, ovviamente figurati se si compra la Maxon, tanto comunque le relazioni
non lo vedo così impossibile.
ma no, ma Adobe non è che comunque viene quotato o ha importanza per i software Creative Cloud. Adobe ha altri asset, altri livelli, altri orientamenti che sono molto più legati alle aziende, a investimenti diversi. Alla fine comunque la quotazione che annualmente raggiunge in borsa e i vantaggi comunque a fine anno mica gli arrivano da Photoshop e Illustrator, quindi è semplicemente insomma quello che ha generato le basi dell'azienda, ma poi vanno in tutt'altre direzioni. E il fatto che abbiano puntato tanto sul concetto di cloud e collaborazioni, revisioni e quant'altro è ovviamente parte anche del lavoro che loro fanno fronte enterprise, aziende e compagnia. Ecco il motivo reale per il quale poi sono andati comunque a prendersi anche frame.io, perché probabilmente gli servivano quel tipo di asset. Comunque, vedremo un attimino.
Cioè, alla fine la grande rivelazione che è stata poi quella di Figma non è stata niente di che.
Vabbè, noiosetta per la verità, ci hanno fatto vedere.
Ma vabbè, ma qua era solo per dire, ok ragazzi,
Sì, d'accordo, ma c'era bisogno di prendere 10 minuti dello speech che fondamentalmente hanno battuto le mani per ogni minchiata, poi è passato quello, ha parlato 10 minuti e praticamente quando è andato via la gente manco se n'è accorta. Nel senso che...
Sì, vabbè, l'unica cosa di interessante che ha detto in quello speech lì era il fatto che Figma integrerà gli Adobe Fonts, che è stato sempre, diciamo, uno dei
Oh mio Dio, cambierà la mia vita lavorativa! Oh mio Dio!
Beh, no, non cambia la vita, però diciamo che è uno
sono cose
degli
utili.
aspetti positivi nell'avere la cloud.
Ma certo, ma assolutamente, però ti voglio dire io, non è che sono cose che fondamentalmente aspetti il keynote per rivelare. Io mi sarei aspettato,
infatti,
cosa che probabilmente distribuiranno nei vari panel, un approfondimento un po' più dettagliato anche su determinate combo che si sono viste, perché, ripeto, a parte la famosa scena alla quale mi riferivo prima, in realtà io ogni tanto mi avvicinavo allo schermo perché cercavo di capire quello che stavo vedendo e ho notato delle cose, ma non le riesco a decodificare perché passavano velocemente. Poi avevamo la regia che inquadrava pure i gattini che passavano dietro nei vicoli di Los Angeles, tranne lo schermo mentre mostravano le app che si muovevano. Quindi che cacchio. Vabbè, comunque.
Quello che sarà, vabbè, io presumo,
Ma stasera se
te lo dico
piglio il
ora
tizio
come
della regia, ti giuro, gli passo sopra.
io ho il sentore che molte delle cose non siano state dette appositamente per caricare di più lo sneak peek di domani.
Potrebbe anche darsi, però è l'evento d'apertura, quindi magari... Vabbè, ovviamente per carità, non è che chi siamo noi per dire ad Adobe se sbaglia o una cosa o la fa... Al massimo possiamo dire se ci piace o no.
Probabilmente, sai,
Io l'ho
sono
vista.
anche delle scelte... Sono anche delle scelte. Ad esempio, guarda, in questo keynote non si è parlato assolutamente della parte audio. Che io e te,
Audition, per esempio, immagino che anche
benissimo
Audition...
che praticamente i grandi, le grandi innovazioni che soprattutto a livello di intelligenza artificiale sono state fatte attraverso le bete chiuse a noi tester. Abbiamo visto il programma famoso che ti dicevo, quello che sostituisce la voce, che doveva, in realtà era un programma presentato come migliora la tua voce, in realtà sostituisce la voce totalmente.
Sì, ma allora in realtà Audition è una bomba,
è stato
io
fatto vedere.
edito tutto quanto con Audition, però c'è anche Animate, ci sono tante cose che come rumors erano state annunciati, mi fa strano che effettivamente non li abbiano messi neanche di passaggio. L'unica cosa che posso dire è che probabilmente è una scelta. Ogni tanto, se avete notato, c'erano dei pannelli dove mettevano una sorta di word cloud con tutte le funzionalità di ogni programma che si vedeva, più o meno replicando lo schema che utilizza l'Apple quando per ogni prodotto ti riassume le funzionalità. Solo che si vedeva poco, si vedeva velocemente, la regia era
ed era pure
ambriaca.
confusionario. Ed era molto confusionario pure.
Esatto, quindi non c'era nessuna evidenza, quindi... Chiede Marco se di character animation non ne hanno parlato. No, assolutamente no. Si è visto a una certa c'era la combo e pensavo che ne avrebbero parlato. Premiere, After Effects, character animation e media encoder. Ma li hai visti così come loghi e sono spariti, non c'era più niente. Per questo sto dicendo, cioè, vedi per esempio anche il fatto di mettere gli spottini, certo, ovviamente dovevano servire da riempitivo, per carità, quindi se li giocheranno dopo. Mi sarebbe piaciuto per i miei gusti vedere qualche cosina in più, ma anche come anteprima, cioè a dire eccolo qua e poi adesso passiamo a un altro, eccolo qua, poi c'è questo software, quell'altra cosa. Sicuramente frame.io sarà comunque collegato ad altri programmi, perché sono molti programmi che passano da cloud. Voglio vedere un attimino a questo punto, esplorando i singoli software, ma vedremo in questi giorni i vari panel. Comunque va bene, dai, direi che ci siamo allungati a sufficienza. Io a questo punto saluterei. Ringraziamo tutti quelli che ci hanno seguito fin qui. Speriamo ovviamente che vi siate divertiti a seguirlo quanto ci siamo divertiti noi.
Quelli che hanno resistito fino ad ora.
Vabbè, dai, qualcuno ha resistito.
Un po' di gente, dai, non sono così pochi.
E nulla, dai, ci ribecchiamo online. Grazie a voi.
Ci becchiamo domani con lo sneak peek, giusto?
Domani un'altra live? No.
C'è lo sneak peek domani.
Io però, insomma, non lo so, ho lezione dalle 3 alle 9, quindi alle 7, quindi probabilmente non sarò dei vostri.
Vabbè, mi sa che mi trovate da solo a fare la live, o coinvolgo qualcuno dei poveri ragazzi di Robola Grafici
Va bene, dai.
a farmi da secondo.
Va bene.
Ragazzi, buona serata.
Buona serata a tutti, a presto anche da parte mia, e vado a mangiare. Bye bye.
Buon caffè.
Buon caffè.
Io vado a farmi un caffè.
Ah, ok, buon caffè a te. Ciao a tutti.